performance when it comes to just the draft and how they showed us a little bit of a preview on what's to come in the upcoming meta and the new patch that we have. Are you actually impressed on how they approach that lower bracket best of one, lower bracket best of one finals?
If there's anyone I was impressed with, it was Boomy's positioning. You know,
Great.
I think Nathan touched on it a while ago, but he was just in the right spots, right? I'm gonna call back to that sequence in the mid lane. Clockwork, Boomy goes up 3 minutes in, gets the bounty rune on the dire side, immediately goes for a fight, draws the other two supports from Boom, manages to bother the mid laner, gets the water rune, is in position now to control for the next set of runes. And this is, I think, where you would see Boomy's pedigree as a position 4 is serving him really well in TNC, and especially this meta where you have 2-minute water rune, you gotta fight for it. 3-minute immediately, there's going to be a bounty. 4-minute, there's going to be another rune. It's only really minute 5 that you can sort of breathe, and then minute 6, it's power runes, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
When you have that sort of dynamic, having a position 4, basically 2 position 4s in your team, kind of makes the game really easy for you, or at least kind of gives you a lot of advantage in the early goings of this metagame. There was a sequence up top where I believe Kyle was the one who mentioned that without the ultimate on Clockwork, you're just gonna walk to places, right?
Yeah.
But he was in the right place at the right time. He trapped 2 people with the cogs, instantly followed up from Chief Armel, and at that time Boom was leading because they were winning the laning stage basically in 3 lanes. But because of those sort of sequences, I think that's where we can see, TNC's mentality or form, as I would say. They look like they are ready to prove a point to Neon. They are the new kids on the block, really hot. But now TNC is saying, you gotta watch out. There is a reason why we're called TNC Predator. Right? There's a reason why they're the defending champions of this tournament. And it looks like they're gonna come out with these ideas. I kind of want to see more Solar Crest action, if I'm absolutely honest with you. The item just seems amazing. It's 1k cheaper.
Feels so good. It's true.
It feels so good. It was an interesting point that Nathan was making as well, right? I believe when we were watching the game, we saw how early the Vengeful Spirit had it. And to be quite honest, a lot of people, including myself, Nathan, Jules over in the Filipino panel, we were talking last night. We were playing games together, and we were saying, this Solar Crest item is so valuable. And Nathan was calling for a second one on that team.
Yeah, no, honestly, I feel like just because of how strong it could be, and of course the addition of the reduction maybe of Necronomicon and having the Helm of the Dominator now, maybe you have one for your carry and one for your creep that you have dominated. Why not? Just because of the fact that it's just so easy to build. Maybe an offlane or a position 4 can get one. Maybe a position 4 and a position 5 can get one. But here we go. It's time for the draft. Grand finals time between
It's grand finals
TNC.
best of 3. Here we go.
Let's go.
I love this first band.
I expect aggression, team fights, man. Early, just boom, 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 boom. That's what I'm looking for.
I love the first ban out of Neon right now. I am a big Beastmaster fan. I've been screaming all over Twitter how I just want to play this hero and just stack all the armor in the world and just murder people with my summons. Now that's the only one that's available. But now TNC with the first pick, it's going to be Io.
Ooh. Can never go wrong, I would say, for the
This is a support, right? We're expecting this to be the support.
So.
The damage has been nerfed, and the shard is now... I think they changed it so that the tether stuns as you pass them. So for a lot of Dota 1 fans, that was what tether used to do. They changed it because the past shard was when it breaks. Neon will take away the gyro then. Neon looking
TNC Predators turn to
hit. It's gonna be Pango. I see. All right.
Okay.
Io Bloodseeker, let's go.
TNC Predators
It's quick. There it is.
Yep, told you.
Ooh,
I mean, it's
instant.
just a hero that's just too good to pass up on.
It's too
when
good.
you're playing against Pangolier.
Yeah, it's elementary at this point, right?
And it's buffed too.
Team
It's
battle.
Yeah, it
buffed
was.
too, right? they added damage on the rupture
Predators
cast,
turn to ban.
so it just instantly it removes 10% of your HP.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I feel like TNC Predator, they still need an actual pair with the IO, and they still have a few Leshrac still in the pool. Although against the
10
Pangolier, maybe not
seconds
the best, but
remaining.
you already have a Bloodseeker against it. Maybe Neon now, they're
5
looking to make
seconds
sure that
remaining.
they don't have pairs, right? They don't have a pair
Yeah.
for it.
You don't like IO Bloodseeker?
Not necessarily. I love the band from TNC though. Elder Titan Gyrocopter is another sort of pair, and honestly, the Echo Stomp changes rebalancing doesn't hurt him one bit, and you know, Natural Order is still good against Agi cores, as
Mhm.
TNC have already picked it up, and so I really love this. Neon, they need to remove the ability of TNC to make this IO really
Radiant
pop in
team
this
ban.
game. Meanwhile, TNC Predator, they just really need to remove a partner for the gyro. So it's just a
Yeah.
battle of supports that they're removing.
NP is also here that Obinion showed their mastery with, not only with one role, but also in various positions. Probably
Mhm.
why
10
TNT
seconds
also
remaining.
respected that fact. Grimstroke, however, from Obinion, we
5
saw in
seconds
the
remaining.
matches yesterday during the Asia final that Grimstroke kind of played an important role where it's dispel. It's dispel once you get the items going up, and as well as just its innate way to get into the lane and just try to have tools. Not really to dominate, but at least have tools to answer whatever lane opponents they might have. So, Nobinian, this is just some glimpses of the new patch that we are running on. But then again, there's the Gyrocopter and the Pangolier first pickup. We saw in that last game that the Gyrocopter did not have much success. But do you think that this is a hero that we will be looking for as a priority for teams moving forward in this patch?
I think so. I definitely think so. You know, they buffed the early number of flak
TNC
cannon
Predators
instances,
turn to
and
ban.
it's still good at farming the jungles, especially now that it can hit 3 camps at once. It's
Mhm.
easier to do on the Dire side, a bit harder to do
Radiant
on the
team
Radiant
ban.
side, but it's possible. And it can fight early, as we've
Yeah.
seen from the last game, right? You kind of want to fight early. I think Neon is going to be the kind of team where they're different from Boom. I think they're going to prioritize a damage item, which is definitely what Boom lacked the last game. They didn't build a damage item into BKB. They went
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
10
S and Y
seconds remaining.
into Satanic.
Satanic,
So-
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know
5
actually. I mean, you
seconds
mentioned that
remaining.
it can fight early. I still feel like Gyrocopter could still be okay in the position 5. You know, I feel like Neon, they saw the IO on the other side and we're just like, you know what, we're not going to give it to them. We'll take it. And I don't know if Neon have already decided whether or not they're going to be playing it as a core or as a support, but it's sort of the same for TNC. You know, is this going to be a carry IO? Has it been nerfed into Oblivion? Are they
Radiant
still going to
team
try to pull it
pick.
off? Or is it going to be position 4? I think Tim's is the one that plays it. I don't imagine Boomy might play it, but yeah, with this Bloodseeker as well, it can be a carry, can be an offlaner. We're still not so sure. So I feel like for both teams, it's still quite open, especially since with Neon as
Yep.
well, with a Pangolier pick, they can put in the position 3, put it in the
10
position
seconds
4. But I feel
remaining.
like with a counter in the game, I don't think you want to put too many resources into the
5
Pangolier. So it
seconds
might just be a
remaining.
play hard Pangolier. But I'm still really interested to see how these teams move on and how they pick more of these heroes, because right now I'm not really sure how and what heroes they could pick up, honestly.
You know, you see the Bristleback
TNC
also here that
Predators turn
Obinion kind of respected. For TNC, we're talking about flexibility. Bristleback's also a hero that TNC Predator have shown that they can run as the carry or the offlaner. So that's a good thing to do it. Now, Obinion, a little bit of a similar approach compared
10
to
seconds
Boomy Sports
remaining.
earlier,
Yeah.
where they put in the Abaddon with this
5 seconds
gyrocopter. Is it actually okay against the two of the heroes of TNC Predator so far?
It's all right because you just want sustain and you want a little bit more HP
Radiant
for the
team
gyro,
pick.
especially when you're up against something like
Clock,
Bloodseeker. Right now, TNC, they're not outputting that much damage instantly on you. You definitely have to stay in the fight or in the zones that TNC want to fight in order to take some damage. So that's where, you know, the Abaddon is really
10
excels.
seconds
That being said,
remaining.
I'm not entirely sure if it's the kind of pace
5
that OB
seconds
Neon should be taking in this game. I feel like with the amount of damage that they can dish out, maybe they can take the initiative. So I'm not sure. Maybe it'll come down to their fourth pick, right? The last time we saw this boom, they picked up the Storm Spirit, which is a problem if if the other team just sort of groups together. So I kind of want them to pick up something that can sort of complement the damage output of the gyrocopter. I don't think they're going to be served by just having one damage dealer, especially now that they're potentially showing two supports already, and their supports aren't necessarily
TNC
damage
Predators
dealing.
turn.
There's the
Speaking
Shrek.
of,
Well,
there you go. That's
there's
the
your
one that I wanted to
damage.
see.
And so
Hmm.
much objective taking potential as well. Your mid lane, if ever it will be in the mid lane, it's also a good dominant force in the mid lane. And also, rune control
10 seconds remaining.
is also very important. I think that as we have seen in that previous
5
match of
seconds
TNC
remaining.
versus Boom, there's a lot of emphasis controlling that rune area, and Leshrac, a valid target for a bottle carrier, will also be there to just control every single rune and then transition into taking objectives. I think that you also accelerate your farming on the gyrocopter if you just keep on continue on pressuring the map, and you can
TNC
do that with the
Predators
Shrek.
turn.
Invoker, okay.
Oh, the Invoker.
Yeah, I'm still sort of formulating my ideas on how the lanes will go out. I think we potentially already see the mid laner. Well, I
Radiant
think this is
team
probably going to be a
ban.
mid lane Invoker, right, for TNC. They ban out the TA, so that should pretty much just
Yeah, it
confirm
should
it.
be. It should be that. Yeah.
Yeah, this is probably an off-lane combo between the Bloodseeker and the Clockwork, so we're still looking for a carry, I think, that goes to the IO. Maybe TNC is sort of trying something funky by saying, look, this could still be a
10
carry, could
seconds
still be a carry.
remaining.
But no, I think with the nerfs, it should be
5
that
seconds
IO has gone
remaining.
back to the support role. With Neon, on the other hand, now that you have a Leshrac, I'm not sure how the mid lane matchup goes between the Leshrac versus the Invoker, especially since the Invoker can go for either a Quaswex or an Exort build. But
TNC Predators
I'm
turn.
still not
yeah,
sure what
I
Neon is
agree.
looking for.
They changed how the Quaswex and the Exhort work, right? It now gives attributes. So you're right. I'm not entirely sure how it's going to play out. That's the beauty of the new patch.
Yeah.
I feel like TNC
10 seconds
see.
remaining.
the nerf on the Wisp has been the
5
damage
seconds
output on the
remaining.
orbs, right? It's been it's more than halved almost.
Radiant
Almost halved.
team ban.
Does 25 damage on rank 4. So this still might be position 4. We see the position 5 Clockwork. But is Bloodseeker going to be enough? Bloodseeker, for what it's worth, I will say, has looked really good. It looks really good
10
just
seconds
looking at the
remaining.
patch notes.
Predators turn to pick.
I like the ban. The brood ban here, I think, is really important. Yeah, just because their heroes don't deal with it, right?
Yeah. I
The
guess.
heroes don't deal with the brood, especially in the laning stage.
Yeah. Even without the reworks, I've seen Broodmother just
10
destroy
seconds
Invoker
remaining.
lanes, and you see it even in pub matches. It's a
5
well-known
seconds
meme
remaining.
that when you're smurfing, when you're boosting, you go for the Broodmother, especially because there's a lot of Invoker players out there. But kidding aside, yeah, the new Broodmother, it's one thing that we have to talk about. It was kind of ignored yesterday, but all throughout the day so far with the 2 matches we've had, TNC banning it out once again. With seeing for Obinia and I'm sorry, for TNC Predator, they don't just want to be cheese, unfortunately, Nathan.
No, not today. Not today. No cheese.
Not
Not yet.
today.
Not yet.
Best of 3, man.
Best of 3.
Might be
Exactly.
a bit early. It might be a bit early in the patch just for cheese, but Obi Neon, they're in a very interesting position, right? It looks like they might be last picking their offlaner.
Yeah.
And it might come to that. So TNC Predator, they're in a very sensitive position here. Whatever they pick reveals all of their lanes. So I think that's why
Yeah.
they're taking their time. You see Boomy
Radiant
on the
team
camera
pick.
there, sort of explaining how the game plan's gonna go.
Snap
It's
fire.
gonna be Snap
Yeah, I think.
Fire.
Hold on.
Welcome back, Snapfire.
I, I, I
Hero.
s- I don't know honestly how this goes because there's so many scenarios for TNC right now. If you're looking at the draft, could be a carry IO, could be a support IO. If it's a support IO, is it going to be a Bloodseeker
Choose
carry?
your hero.
You know, is it going to be an offlane Bloodseeker? I don't
Offlane
think any of the last three heroes here from TNC that will
Yeah.
be a carry. So I think it's just either the IO or the Bloodseeker, honestly. And with the Void Spirit, this probably means that this is an offlane
What's offlane
Leshrac.
Leshrac, I think.
Yeah,
it's
so
offlane
this is
Leshrac.
sort of a hero that Scam played as a carry in the
Yeah.
major, and Death, their stand-in at the time, of course, since Natsumi wasn't able to join them. Death was the one that was playing in the offlane, and I think for Neon, they understand that it can be played this way. They understand that it is a patch that you have to be aggressive, you have to play aggressive, and looking at all these heroes, honestly, they can all be aggressive once they hit the power splice. I think level 6 on some of these heroes is pretty strong. The Void Spirit is not too bad, I think, versus the Invoker. I think they doubled back on that. Maybe Leshrac mid wasn't the answer towards the Invoker. Of course, Leshrac is sort of a hero that wants to run people down, and if you can't run the Invoker down because he's going to tornado you, then it's sort of useless. But yeah, I'm not sure how I read on this. I still feel like Neon is overall the stronger team in terms of draft, though. On the other hand. I don't know who's going carry here for TNC Predator. I don't know. That's the reason why I can't really comment on how I feel about the draft here for TNC. But I feel like with Neon, it sort of fits the patch sort of fits them a bit better. Honestly, if they continue what they used to do in this patch, it feels like a Neon patch. Aggression, fight, all these runes, chaos, basically, and that is the name of the game basically for Neon is chaos. A lot of the top teams in the major, they suffered versus Neon. And I think Thunder Predator, shout out to them as well, of course, from that region. They suffered because they couldn't keep up with the tempo. They couldn't keep up with the aggression. So I feel like Neon, I think they can still take this.
We'll see. I won't even bother asking Pao. I'm sure that he just wants to see the game itself. Thank you so much, Nathan and Pao, for that expert Pao. But now we're going to be passing it over to Kyle and Gods for game number 1 of this best of 3 grand final.
Thank you very much, guys. We've got a grand finals here. Our first best of 3, and it is a fantastic one. The two best teams coming out of the Philippines, TNC and OB Neon. Joining me is Kyle. What do you make of this matchup between these two teams, Kyle, as far as your first impressions go on the new patch?
I mean, it's the matchup I was hoping to see. I think they're certainly evenly matched. The styles of both sides do definitely complement what we expect to see, which is a hell of a lot of fighting, early rune contesting, some tower diving, some 5-manning. It is Gabby on the
30
Wisp, which I was
seconds to
expecting.
battle.
The last pick of the draft going to Yapaj, who really made a name for himself the last major. I think relatively even lineups, to be honest. I just kind of want to see how it plays out.
Okay. Well, we'll see how some of these lanes go. We are going to be seeing that core IO. I'm curious if this IO is kind of looking like it might be geared up for this mid lane. It looks like Gabby, at least cutting some trees, is going to be trying to find the right matchup. Got to imagine Armel on Invoker is going to be playing that mid lane Invoker and going for
The
early
battle
Exort. So we are
begins.
going to be seeing perhaps the return of Exort Invoker. We kind of talked a bit about before we came to this game. Invoker seeing some changes. You now get all the stats with Quaz, Wex, and Exort. So Exort giving you a lot of last hitting and right click potential in lane.
Mm-hmm. I'm hyped. I think we're going to see a lot more Invoker. We just saw Enigma announce that ILTW was joining, Miracle back to mid. I can only, Kuro does what Miracle wants. He asked for that lane. I think a big part of it is the mid meta shifting. All these playmakers, heroes that are fun to play. Void Spirit versus Invoker. Let's get more of this all day.
And on a patch where it seems like fighting is going to be very prominent with these 3-minute bounty runes and just a lot more emphasis on, taking over the opponent's side of the map. So
Dyer's courier.
we're going to perhaps see, a lot of fighting on this patch and definitely mid laners who want to brawl.
Yeah, for sure. And I think carries are going to go that same route. We even have an off-lane Lesh in this game. Some changes to Lightning Storm and the talents. Now it's more... also, I think a buff to the stun radius, was it? At level... Was it just the talent? I don't remember. There's too many damn patch notes. I'll check my notes.
The Splitter Shard pulse count increased from 2 to 3, but that's with the Shard.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see how good Carry IO is still. See, we're going to flood down bottom. Abaddon chases down Tim's and finds an early kill, but Carry IO received pretty heavy nerfs. The spirit damage getting reduced heavily. 40 damage to 25 is a big nerf at max level.
Yeah, I think it was necessary though. It was just far too strong. Whenever you see a nerf that drastic, you know, I think every captain starts to kick themselves like, damn, why didn't I make my carry play this more? Like, it can't have been balanced when you take a nerf like that.
Well, perhaps this will be the first test to see whether or not it is still viable. Clearly, TNC thinking it is. They did lose to it last time they played against Neon, so looking to perhaps get some revenge as early on. It does look like TNC having a slight edge in some of these lanes. IO having a rough time getting any early last hits though, as another kill going to be coming the way of TNC this time. Down bottom, Tim's killing off Yanuel.
Yeah, it's a brawling lane down bottom, especially if these guys continue to play aggressive. I've been watching mid mostly, where relatively even, as you would expect. I think that the game, it really comes down to the Void Spirit and what he can do at level 6. The weakness of Invoker is that you are quite susceptible to being jumped on top of, being ganked perhaps, but with the Forge Spirits getting more levels, I think you start to trade more efficiently.
I'm curious to see if we start seeing those Sunstrikes into side lanes. I feel like a lot of just Dota players in general probably forgotten about, expecting Sunstrikes because Quas Wex has been the only way Invoker has been played in some time.
Yeah, I love the X-Sword though. I think it's just more fun to watch, and when it works in the meta, it's a more rewarding style of play.
Yeah.
Like you're a carry Invoker, not this run around the map with drums Invoker. I want to see an Ags at 20 minutes again.
Yeah, it used to be, it felt like on the old patch, like you go Quas Wex, and then if the game's really slowing down, like you might go back for a Midas and start transitioning into some, late game Ag Scepter that comes in to play like 40 minutes in, but now we're getting it from the get-go.
I mean, I just like Invoker is going to be, death to your screen if you don't have enough of a refresh rate. And once you get really maxed out, like the Shard giving the bonus meteors, Cataclysm, level 25 AoE Deafening Blast. Like, I just want to see that refresher combo. It's been so long since I've seen one of those.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you mentioned, Miracle perhaps returning to mid lane. He was one of those Invoker specialists, but Armel himself, like a lot of Invoker back in the day, so very comfortable on the hero, and we'll see if Yopaj has the answers on the Void Spirit. Imagine we'll see a lot more kind of activity out of Yopaj, at least once they start fighting over these runes and looking to make early plays. Invoker probably going to be a bit more static in this mid lane.
Yeah, I think you should start to get ahead though. I mean, you can just push lane, farm easy camp pretty much on command. I think the 4-minute rune. Well, wait. Well, both teams get 4-minute runes. What am I saying? It's not a contest at all.
The water rune. Yeah. Well, we'll see. Yopaj is looking to fill his up, but Boomy is there waiting, so he's going to look to deny this, I imagine. As he does manage to take... Yopaj will dissimulate himself away. It's just funny that there's a water rune now. Like, we always get hype when a new rune gets added, and the new rune that got added was some dud rune.
Yeah. Well, I mean, maybe it's opening the door to some more runes to come out, like an earth rune.
True. I'm down for that. Maybe, maybe you make this the... What I would like is if this got, like, renamed to Puddle Rune, and then there's, like, a stronger water rune later on in the game, Like, this is a little baby water rune.
I like that. I mean, it's funny. Well, this is something I think we'll potentially see change, because this... oh, you didn't get the rune? I'm very sorry about that. I had checked it. It didn't work out. Let me just teleport back in, give you a free charge and a bottle back.
Yeah. You get 4 charges. Yopaj mid lane going to be forced back from a cold snap, so seeing a lot of pressure coming his way. And you mentioned the Invoker pulling ahead. He's doing just that. He's got a gold lead against the Void Spirit. He's got plenty of sustain with the Quas points and plenty of last hits thanks to this early Forge Spirit.
Yep. If you see, it's 100 on hero with X-Sword, and then he also has 32 in the minus armor stacking from the Spirit. So all of a sudden, Yopaj, when you're low on mana bottle charges like this, you can't play aggressive, which means you just start getting out CS'd hard.
Yeah. And it feels like every time he gets cold snapped, he just has to kind of dissimulate away. So tricky lane for him, but he's level 6 now, so he could be calling for his teammates to either rotate on Invoker, or he may look to start roaming to one of these side lanes.
Be interesting to see. I mean, Clockwork needs a couple more levels. I mean, without Cogs, they don't actually have any real setup for this Sunstrike.
They're going to test that. Yopaj is out of mana. He just jumped in with an Astral Step, has 0 mana. Yanuel's going to try and kind of bail him out. Has the shield as well as a Fairy Fire to heal him up a little bit. The Sunstrike going to land on Yopaj. He does make it to the rune, but dies in the process. And TNC want more. They're going to chase down the Abaddon as well. Great move from TNC, knowing that those 6-mate runes are coming up. Rotated all their supports.
Yeah, that was huge. Really well done. And yeah, it's surprising. Yopaj just got a little too aggressive there, and that's the danger. You don't have the mana to play like that on this Void Spirit. If he does, this fight goes completely differently, but... nice from Armel. I like the build. Double Null has a magic wand, 12 stick already saved up. This is what you need. You know that they want to play aggressive into you, so you go for these stat and early aggression items. Make sure that you're powerful enough to continue fighting, even if you take some damage initially. Yopaj chase. He's just trying to kill the spirit.
Does keep his... Oh, doesn't quite keep this thing alive, unfortunately. The creep wave came a little bit too late. Otherwise, this tower could have taken a lot of damage. Now, they're going to TP in. Yopaj does have 1 Astral Step left, but they're looking to gank with the Rupture. Doesn't have a TP, I imagine. Yeah, he TP'd back to lane, so still 48 seconds on that. Illusion Rune will dodge the Sunstrike. And now with Yanuel showing up, he may actually survive his way through this one. But Invoker coming in. Yopaj, no Astral Step for 10 seconds. Yanuel still trying to heal him up a little bit. Has another shield in a couple of seconds, but not going to get a chance to use it. Great rotation from TNC. Yeah, I think Abaddon dies here as well. Invoker's just kind of pieced out already. He's got a Sunstrike in a couple of seconds. He might try and snipe this kill. As a Cookie is going to set up a stun into a Sunstrike. Perfect play from TNC.
Wow. This is a TNC I haven't seen in a while. They are on point right now. Looks incredibly well executed. Their one downside is that this top lane, while all this action happens middle, is not going well. Gabby a little bit behind the CS count of the Leshrac, but it's more about the experience. Lesh almost level 7, Gabby only 6 now. I guess it's really not even that bad. What am I saying? The CS just makes it look deceiving.
Yeah. I think the IO had a slow start. Like, I saw, like, you know, the first, like, 4 or 5 waves, it felt like IO only had, like, 1 creeper wave, but has picked up since getting some levels. Relocate back to Fountain just for a little heal trip. And yeah, TNC feels like this is a perfect start for them. This Invoker level 8 already is absolutely crushing this game, and same for the Bloodseeker. Early rotation with the Rupture is making a lot of plays on the map happen.
Let's see. This is the thing, the Leshrac, level 7, you have that maxed out Edict, and suddenly these tier 1s start to take some serious damage, and IO throughout this game will be at a bit of a risk. The DPS that a Lesh could give, we've seen Liquid play this a bunch too. When you have something like an Oracle or an Abaddon behind you, you can play aggressive enough to get in people's faces, and then that damage really starts to stack up.
Yep. Do you think TNC are going to look to try and defend some of these towers? It looks like for now they're ditching this top one, but are they looking to fight head on, or are they still a little bit behind?
I don't think you can fight for a bit. You need you just need more time. I think if you're going to defend a tower, it'll be mid. And if I'm Neon, I'm going to look to abuse this. You know, my Pango is almost 6. When he hits it, you just collapse on this mid tower. Because I just can't see how this TNC lineup could possibly fight into Pango ult, Lesh, Gyro, Void Spirit. Like, they are so powerful just with their spell casting, with the levels they have. Great stacks for Gabby, though. This is nuts amount of gold.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, he's getting this uncontested. Something perhaps seems a little less used to this new patch.
Yeah.
High ground ward from the Radiant does get a little bit of vision, but team's just not fully understanding, you know, how the jungles work, I feel like, because of the map changes.
Yeah, Dire jungle is so strong now. Like, absolutely. Like, you know, if you compare it to Radiant, it is so much easier to triple stack and farm those Dire camps efficiently in comparison to the Radiant bottom triple near their outpost. I think SF might just come back solely due to these camps.
Down bottom, TNC gonna do a bit of counter push of their own. Perhaps not looking to fight OB Neon head on, kind of as you mentioned. OB Neon with, you know, Void Spirit and just having these level 6s on some of these heroes are looking pretty damn strong, although not quite level 6 on that Pengo, so no Rolling Thunder yet still. Does look like the tome is coming out on his courier though, so we'll have it soon. Rock in some trouble. Gets jumped on here with the Astral Step in. It looks like they're just going to ditch the Bloodseeker. Armel says, I'm getting out of here. And with that, you're going to look to play in these other 2 lanes.
Yeah, and this is actually the Ocean Heart on the APAC is actually such a great item for a hero like Void Spirit. He's going to TP the base here, but the changes, 10 HP, 5 mana regen when you're in the river is pretty considerable. He's also going for the Witchblade. We haven't seen this too much on Void Spirits, but I think after the changes, maybe the True Strike just got it into people's minds, but it's just a value item, and I think in a game like this, it's going to be better than a Eul's for you. That armor's real nice.
Are fortified.
It feels like this more like aggressive early game item. Top lane, they go in on Debil, Skem. He could be in some trouble, but he's just looking to turn it around on him. He's just running in and fighting. He's on his own in a 1 versus 4 scenario, and he's almost killing everyone with this Hood plus Chip Vest. Unfortunately, just not quite enough damage. That's going to look good on the damage dealt stats, but it is a death nonetheless.
Yeah, he did more than the enemies by almost 1,000.
Nice 2.6k damage dealt. As Rupture is going to come out on the Void Spirit. Yopaj could be in some trouble. Shot goes through his body, it almost looks like here. As Penguin can come in with the Rolling Thunder here. This could pose problems for TNC. They've got to try and juke away from this one. They pull Playhard in pretty deep here. Nice cookie. Going to help Armel get back to safety, and Playhard, he's perhaps overcommitted. Bloodright comes out, in goes Yopaj, gets the kill with the Astral Set forward, and now Armel manages to dodge the Dissimilate, gets the Tornado EMP off, and Yopaj loses his mana, does still have bottle charges here as the cooldown going to look to Zossi back, but TNC playing around the outskirts of this one, except for Bok. Bok in trouble on the Bloodseeker here. Team's getting incredibly low, as does Armel, and Gabby is just going to tether himself back to the high ground. TNC just being outgunned here, Kyle.
Oh yeah, this is the Neon I remember from the Major. There are 5 heroes in the Tier 2, Tier 3 area of TNC, but this is how this draft has to play. They are so strong right now. Pango ulti, TNC have no option against this other than to just run away, especially if Rupture is on cooldown. And it's just too much damage. It is way too much damage, and they have no answers for this Void Spirit just yet either, so this is your time to shine. If you're OB Neon, just keep going in, just run at them.
And as for TNC, like, even though they had that good start, it feels like they're kind of on the greedier side. They've got this Io who takes some time to come online with Ags, the Invoker, just this greedy hero in general, so it does feel like they need to avoid these fights, if anything.
Yeah, this, well, we'll see. It looks like an Orchid build on Armel is going to be the answer. He actually is swapping to the Quas-Wex build.
Boomy, unfortunately, missing another hook shot. We will see the Mortimer's Kisses coming in. That may be the death of Playhard. A lot of damage coming in. TNC finding a pick-off, and is this going to be more the game plan for TNC? Just try find these like pick-offs and then avoid team fights, do you think?
I think it's the only real way you can play this. Like, I'll be honest, I still don't really understand how Io works as a carry. It just, it just feels like the hero farms, he gets really strong, and then he's just so strong that his team wins the game. But
it feels kind of anti-mage like what anti-mage used to be, It's like, if you get your item times, you win the game. Yeah.
So I don't know, like, yeah, the Ags is nice. At some point, you'll probably have a Heart 2 and like a Kaya Sanjiash or whatever, and then you're just like, wow, I just can't stop this hero. But I'm not sure when that kicks in against Gyro, Lesh, Pangolier, Void Spirit. Like, you're just going to get ran at, and you have so much AoE damage on this Radiant side that, it's not like you can tether to an ally. You're both in danger then. And no BKBs are going to come out for this dire side for some time.
Neon have used this good start and this advantage. They've had to take all 3 outer tier 1 towers now and put themselves in a decent position. Bok is charging forward very ambitiously, has a blade mail here, so when you talk about all this big AoE damage, it's somewhat uncontrollable. So playing against Gyro Ledge, blade mail feels like a very strong item to have. Oh, Boomy. Hook shot onto an illusion. He's had a rough game for the past few minutes. A couple missed hook shots, now a hook shot into an illusion, and unfortunately for TNC, it means they're probably going to have to back off.
Yeah, and this isn't necessarily bad for them, but I am concerned at the lack of scaling I think we might see from the Dire lineup. Like, the swap to the Quas-Wex build means that Armel, he's not going to be that level 25 Miracle Invoker that we remember. There was no Midas. He's 204, he's 4th place in network, behind enemy offlane.
Gabby on the IO needs a tether target. He's being chain stunned here. Gets the tether out, and now it's Playhard. Perhaps having this one turned around on him. Bloodright with a cold snap. He's gonna kill himself to the Rupture, unfortunately. It was either that or the Bloodright, so Nice counterplay from TNC. That's just a bit over-ambitious, thinking they could kill the IO, it felt like, but OB Neon, they're not done. They're looking to charge in now. This Leshrac with Hood and Mech, incredibly tanky.
Yeah, they just don't have catch. You can see the issue is Yopaj is pretty much the only one that's going to offer lockdown.
And he's actually gone back for the Yule Scepter now, it looks like. So recognizing that the catch is a big problem, so Yule's just going to be the name of the game.
Yeah, it makes sense. Net worth-wise, they're still doing all right. It's just, and they do have the Ags now finished on Natsumi as well. It's weird, you know, neither one of these teams really have the greatest lockdown. So it's just a lot of, hey, we're strong, run at them, followed by the other team saying, no, it's us who are strong, we will run at you. And eventually, we'll have probably this massive team fight around an objective, but bottom,
Play hard bottom.
Tango, nice jukes.
Oh, he's, yeah, juking the kiss. I think every single one except maybe one. He is being scattered up by the Thirst, but perfect jukes on the Mortimers.
Somebody's got their WoW subscription still.
Unfortunately, Boomy with free vision from the Thirst gets killed. This time he's not missing the hook shot.
Dyer's top tower is under attack.
I mean, you kind of mentioned, you know, you're worried about TNC scaling. Do you think Gyro, if this game goes late, is kind of that ultimate carry?
Hard to say. Like I would say yes, but it's not like he doesn't like win the game by himself. It's more a product of like the rest of his team. It's that the Leshrac will become an equal carry in terms of damage output to his Gyro. And the Void Spirit, although how did he actually die? He just got ruptured, I guess.
Exactly, got ruptured. Astral step away. Io kind of chased him down as well. I guess he just didn't have a TP out, or his TP got cancelled. I didn't actually see that part of it.
And we'll see. Yeah, the nice vision up by TNC. I like this. They're going to be able to control their bounty. I'm sure they'd love to get frisky. It's just easier said than done. I think the BKB timings for their cores. You see, Invoker's got his queued up, as does Bloodseeker. And yeah, there's the Wisp with his queued up. When they get these items, that is their timing. Because the downside of the OB Neon lineup, it's all magic damage. But until then, they have a big edge.
See both teams going for some of these BKBs. Unfortunately for Leshrac, no BKB on him. He gets rotated on, making use of the relocate, and feels like TNC using their vision to great effect here, protecting their bounty runes and also playing aggressive in this bottom jungle.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
And yeah, they're gonna go into the Roach. They got a DD. Great timing.
Yep. DD and a Pango. That's all you need sometimes. Oh, does get scattered up by the Rocket Flare, and I think OB Neon, yeah, they're gonna get cold feet because of that.
Yep.
They
Heads up
not
play
want
by
to see
Boomy.
themselves get wiped in the pit.
This is a very dangerous location to fight against Bloodseeker Clock.
Yeah. I think neither team really wanted to get caught in the Roach pit. When you look at, yeah, like Snapfire, Mortimer's Kisses in there, Pengo roll.
Yeah. See,
Very
the thing is, OB Neon, their timing is waning. You know, this Leshrac did not go for scaling items. He has Arcane's mech. He wants fights, and they're not getting them. Snapfire now, a mech of his own, and that's a support. So, you know, Yopaj with the Yules, he's not going to scale super hard as well. It's really a lot of pressure on this Gyro. He'll get his BKB first in game. No one else will have one. And that could be their slight window to get a fight going where their carry is nigh unkillable and TNCs are vulnerable.
And TNC, I mean, until those BKBs come up, this Invoker Orchid can cause a lot of problems as well. It does look like they might be gearing up for another smoke. Tim's does have one, but... And now just chilling in their bounty runes. And 20-minute mark coming up, perhaps going to see a fight over some of these power runes. Smoke into the Radiant jungle here. They're running once again. It's Scam on the Leshrac. They're making a beeline from Abaddon. Sees this coming. He TPs him preemptively, but I don't know if he can save this. The rest of Neon is making a beeline for it looks like Scam. He's going to be kept alive. Bloodseeker runs in with the Blade Mail. He's turning this one around, and Scam absolutely gets obliterated. But here comes the Gyro with the Rolling Thunder to back him up, locking everybody down. And the Gyrocopter, doesn't kill the Io. Relocates out just in time. TNC trying to stop the chase with some cogs. We'll get back to safety. So Invoker for Leshrac, not a bad trade, I feel like, in some ways, for Ubi Neon. They're not done. Yopaj finds Clockwork in the mid lane. Boomy gets caught out here, but the Blade Mail damage just absolutely deterring Yopaj from any further chase. But Natsumi, well, chasing with a homing missile, hook shot out. Boomy may actually keep himself alive because of it, and both teams always ready to fight. None of those long cooldowns to play around, and it feels like, you know, it's just this big back and forth game.
More bottle filling us. 21 minutes in, Yapaj still very aware of his limitations, and I think, yeah, this is the right play. You still need a fight if you're Neon. You have the BKB on Gyro. You need to force an active engagement here.
Well, we're going to see how that engagement goes. No Pengo rolling Thunder for a couple of seconds, so they should have it for this fight. Rupture comes out early. Yeah, he's gone it really deep early on, and that Mortimer's Kisses may just finish him off. He is not playing with buyback, so he's just dead. The Clockwork is the sacrifice for this one, but that's a support Clockwork, so you don't mind that if you're TNC, and the Clockwork is actually going to survive his way through this one. Natsumi no longer has BKB to fight with, and they've lost 2. Bok is just zooming his way into this fight now, as Gabby is there to back him up with these spirits, doing a lot of damage here, even with the nerfs. Gabby loses his creep, needs a new tether target, tethers to Bok to keep him alive, but with the Sunstrike, they take out Natsumi. He's dead now as well. And the Tornado going to do perfect play from Armel, catches out the Beal, as well as Playhard, and they are absolutely destroying OB Neon now. 1 kill left to get to complete one, and that's going to be 6 kills in total with buyback.
Wow,
Great fight from
what
TNC.
a fight. I hate to call him out, but Yapaj, man, you can't get that aggressive. His first astral step was right into a tornado, so he's just starting with half his charge. Then he goes up to the high ground. I believe he got ruptured preemptively, and then has to defensive step away. He's just dead. He throws his life away, forces his gyro to spend BKB just to run up the high ground. And whoa,
Well, redemption
okay,
art.
I say that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yep. You know, he heard you talking shit, Kyle. He's, you know...
Spoke too soon.
But still not a good place to be if you're OB Neon. Yeah, that's nice. That's, you know, that's a bit of a turnaround from Yapaj, but what we saw, it feels like he's getting ruptured, and then he can't use this Astral Step without taking a ton of damage. And these Blade Mail, what happened to Blade Mail? Did this item get buffed or something? It's looking insane. The reduced recipe cost, meaning everybody, these supports have Blade Mail, is just destroying Neon.
Yeah, and there's just nothing they can do about it. The Clockwork Snapper is just doing so much work. It's the control. You know, the Neon supports, they don't really have that on-demand lockdown. There's no positional tools they can utilize. So it's the Pango roll forward and Yapaj diving in. If they don't connect, if they don't force an engagement around a small enough radius that the Gyro, Flak, and Ultimate can actually do some work, it just feels like TNC just kite them away. Eventually there's going to be a tornado coming in. They just find kills so much easier in these fights. And now a pretty commanding lead, I would say.
Yeah, they've got the gold lead, but I'd say more importantly in some ways, they just got triple BKB.
Oh, yeah.
3 cores got BKB at the same time. Well, Invoker's coming out in a courier.
Yep. The gold advantage, you know, I can hear Seb in my ear. Like, advantage is nothing. It's all about timing. Fear would tell you the same. And right now, this is the definition of a power spike for TNC. Look at their heroes. Nobody's got more gold than the Clockwork, who saved up 400. All 3 cores combined probably have 400 gold on them. They have magic immunity. They are ready to rock and roll. OB Neon knows it's coming. They're going to smoke as well. But I don't know if you want to find TNC at the moment.
Yeah. TNC perhaps ready for this. They don't even, I think they don't care about this Aegis. I think importantly, Playhard yet to get a blink on this Pengo, so he won't have the easiest initiations for the Rolling Thunder. They do have the high ground though. They put some wards here, and I think they know where they are. Yapaj goes in first on the Invoker, but he's going to BKB. He instantly looks to turn. A great Cogs catches out 3. Clockwork happy to throw himself away for the cores here. They get caught in a huge amount of AoE. TNC going to buy back the Clockwork here. They've already taken out the left. The Aegis being wiped out already, and Bok is just charging in headfirst with his BKB. That will wear out now, but without a Rolling Thunder, Playhard just gets ruptured up and picked off. Didn't get a chance to use it in the end, and TNC winning the numbers advantage so far, but they... Okay. They want to keep fighting. Gabby's holding on to his BKB. He's just in the middle of things, but he threw away the Bloodseeker's life as a result, so he does come at a bit of a cost here. They cancel the TP of the Abaddon, so this should get them 1 more kill. Not the most convincing team fight in the end for TNC, despite the triple BKBs.
It's a 4 for 3. I think that's all right. Oh,
yeah.
Just kidding. The buyback's going to pay off.
They're going to get 4. Yeah, now we're talking.
Oh, hang on.
Okay.
Nice tornado
finds him on the left. Oh,
that's really
convincing
good.
team fight now.
Yeah. All it took is that 1 kill.
That changed it.
Yeah, that was the Aegis too, because if there's no Aegis, that fight looks real different, because Yapaj died in that initial onset. So he just, you know, has Aegis, but now ends up falling as well. I just think the fights get easier and easier for TNC as this game continues. There just isn't enough damage right now from OB Neon. You know, they needed to be ahead. They need to be the ones pushing, taking these fights on enemy tier 2 towers. I just don't know if they're going to get to that stage of the game.
feels like, yeah, they don't have the answer to these BKBs. Like, Gyro is this very magic-heavy carry, and until he gets more items, he's not going to be doing much physical damage, so... Could be rough, but TNC luckily did not get the Aegis for themselves, as we are looking at, you know, like a 5-for-1 kind of trade there. See what... I mean, you mentioned Neon, they're the team that wants to be playing from ahead. Is the answer going to be just to keep on trying to fight your way back into this, or do they need to sit back and wait for TNC to make mistakes?
I think you might need to wait for TNC. It doesn't... It's really hard to say because these BKBs, like, they found the initiation there, right? They Yulzed on the Invoker, we're trying to set up, but he just pops BKB on Armel. So it's just easier said than done. You can't really find key kills if the enemies can just pop BKB and ignore literally every spell you cast at them. And that's the scenario we're in right now.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
And
attack.
we've seen TNC do have the lockdown, even into theoretically BKB. Hookshot into these cogs, Clockwork, you know, Boomy just chucking his body in there for the greater good
Radiant's
and
bottom tower is under
setting up a
attack.
lot of these AoE spells to land perfectly for TNC. When you've got an Invoker, you've got a Blood Riot, you've got Snapfire with Mortimer's Kisses. All they need is that hero to go in first, and when that hero's a 5-position Clockwork, you don't care if he lives or dies.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
He even has that second blade mail. This is one of the annoying things as a Gyro or a Lesh. You can't turn off your damage. So when both Gyro and Bloodseeker run at you, blade mail pops. There's just no, you know, this Radiant lineup is built to overwhelm their enemies with damage, and because of the BKBs and the blade mails, it's just much easier said than done.
Yeah, and I imagine you don't really want to pop your BKB just for a Clockwork blade mail, like if he's the one
No.
going in. You're trying to save that for the Invoker and his
Radiant's
spell
middle
combo.
tower is under attack.
We'll see some of these tier 3 neutral items coming out now. Maybe some of those will help make a bit of a difference. Cloak of Flames on Lesh. Sounds pretty nice if you can get in nice and close, but without a BKB, this Lesh is having a tough game. Bottom, though, Gyro doesn't want to use BKB here. Make an App to hookshot, but Umi now able to zone away the Abdom with the cogs and Natsumi. BKB TP out. Just gets
Nice
out.
play. Heads up play. Saw the clock. Hook was down and just immediately goes to the TP. Only way he lives there.
Does feel like we are reaching that critical mass of IO items. I mean, you kind of mentioned, like, it's hard to tell how this IO just wins and carries games, but when it feels like this is a situation where core IO just is unkillable and uncounterable.
And yeah, I mean, you said it. There's no real scaling damage, especially with the item builds on this Neon side. I mean, the Scotty seems nice on the Gyro, but that's mostly, I think, just to taper off the regen from the heart. It's not really a damage tool. Maybe the DD will help, but yeah, it's just tough. It's just you don't see the damage. The support duo not very helpful in that regard. And while Skem has played a fantastic game, he's 0-5-3. I don't think he earned that scoreline. You know, he's had more impact than that. But with this build, Hood into Greaves, you just don't scale. They needed to win this game at 20-25 minutes.
Well, now we see TNC plop the IO in the front lines to push, and the rest of the team just kind of sitting behind Gabby. This feels like go time for OB Neon. They just got the Scotty. I mean, this is a timing. Scotty with a DD gyrocopter does feel like they are ready to at least take some kind of a fight if TNC push too far forward.
They got to get somebody. They need somebody to die before getting his BKB off. I just don't, like, how do you set that up? I guess a Blink Initiation from Pango followed up by a Lesh stun?
Yeah.
Like, they do
They're
have a
all in on
DD
this
Scotty.
Pango.
Yeah, Natsumi is pretty strong. They're going to smoke. I don't think you'll get a better timing than this.
Yep. And the Rocket Flare does go flying over it. Scouts the fact that no one's there, and that may kind of tip TNC off, like, okay, if they're not at their triangle, where are they? And they're making a move. The line being drawn. It seems like TNC have an idea of where Neon are coming from. Yeah, TNC themselves camping the high ground. They're expecting Neon to come this exact way. Teams running into each other. Bok gonna run to Debil. Bok gets gone on, but he gets the BKB off, throws out the Rupture here. It's on Yopaj once again. Yopaj just unable to play into this Rupture. He gets back to the high ground with the shield and the heal. He may be able to outlast this Rupture, as Leshrak without a BKB is going to get isolated and picked off. Boomy does end up going down. Gabby could not save him in time, but that's a support for a core.
Yep. The DD, like, it's the only reason that TNC are afraid here, because Gyro actually does some serious damage when he's hitting twice as hard. If that hook lands, Yopaj might be in trouble too, but unfortunately it goes wide. As you said, they get Bok, but he just BKBs. It's just, if you're gonna win a fight, Neon needs to pop and poke, and then back off, and then somehow turn it around with a huge counter initiation. And TNC is
Feels like
playing too well to give him that.
Yeah, exactly. Natsumi needs that like lockdown for him to do flat damage, like his teammates to lock people down, and they just don't have that. It's like they're entirely reliant on Playhard's Pengo as their only source of lockdown.
Mm-hmm. Hey, it is a BO3. You've got there's a learning experience for both teams here. I believe the first real S tier Dota 2 we've seen in a 7.29. So I'm just hyped seeing how these teams figure it out as we go along.
Yep. Oh, I agree. Yeah, we have seen, the two of the best teams from this region, like you say, S tier Dota. These are both tier 1 teams. And we're seeing them duke it out. Best of 3, so we're going to see those adjustments going to game 2. One of the, I feel like, interesting things just occurred to me is, I feel like playing Pengo on this new patch is probably way harder because you don't know the map.
Yeah,
Pengo,
right?
you need to know the map.
I didn't even think about that, but yeah, you're totally right. They changed so many outlines and like cliff angles. Like finding your bounce is actually near impossible.
Like if you've played like 100 games of Pengo, you know the places on the map where you can perma-stun people, but suddenly that's like, oh, let's change half of those. They no longer exist, or there's new ones that exist.
Oh my, Ace, what?
Oh boy.
Now this is a build. Still at the 3 points cost. Max out Wex Exort. This in Armel Invoker. The alacrity is so strong. 135 attack speed and damage. Plus the ACR.
Gets going on, gets ruptured, gets back to the high ground here. Still alive for now. Tornado going to follow him up.
Oh my god.
Mortimer's Kisses there as well. Yoke going to get himself the hell out of here, keep himself alive, but his teammate's not so lucky, so it's all in on saving him. But where's the turnaround? The Gyrocopter needs to dish out the damage with the Pengo roll, and it's just not quite there. The Io, the sustain onto Bok. Is the damage going to be there? The Rolling Thunder still kicking in. It's going to wear off soon, and unfortunately for Natsumi, there just wasn't enough lockdown to keep him alive, and that is 3 dead, about to be 4. Only Pengo Playhard remains, and TNC have just ran over them with a Gabby Ultra Kill.
Oh yeah, I mean, you just saw Invoker and Wisp standing on the high ground, just turrets of damage smacking into this 3,000 HP Gyro with a Paladin Sword in the eggs. Not even nearly enough life steal. There's just too much HP on these heroes. Way too strong.
Gabby, 4.4k health when he's, like you say, tethering the Invoker now, who has the AC, so they're just dishing crazy right-click damage. It is not looking good at all for Neon. And Boomy going to find a, perhaps pick off up top. The relocate coming in, Playhard has a TP here. Not going to be able to go for it just yet. Perhaps could look for a Tornado, but it looks like he's going to get out. Okay. Melt. Tornado was on cooldown, so didn't get a chance to throw it out. Just fishing for a kill. They'll relocate back to the mid lane. And right there, they're going to find Scan. Scan gets instantly ruptured up. Going to look to turn into as much damage as he can, but he's going to get picked off. 0, 8, and 3. It's been a rough game for him. Like you kind of mentioned, his impact is better than his score, but it does feel like they went all in on this early game item build, and now he's being punished for it.
Yeah. They just didn't get that connect. They needed a fight before these BKBs. We were talking about it. They're just suddenly all immune, and like they're pushing with no fear. Look at the sustain. Like they're just completely ignoring the efforts of Obi Neon to push this back.
No, they're going to Rolling Thunder, but where's the follow-up damage? Gyrocopter wasn't really there until now. He's going to try on the Aya, but they just don't have the damage. This Aya.
He's so tanky. They're using all their spells, and TNC are just like, okay, what's next?
Yeah, you can take away his regen, but he doesn't need his regen when he's got almost 5,000 health. And he's going to kick back in soon. He's still got a BKB. He has the cheese now as well. He can cheese himself with Bok. He just took it out of his backpack. Not even going to need it for this one. He just gets burned up, and Abby just sharing all that regen around, and they may not get racks now, but they've got themselves a 17k gold lead, and if they make it a call just to secure some of these runes.
Yep, and you're getting all these next items up. You're going to have a Abyssal Blade finished in just a moment on Bach. Gabby has Halberds or Sanj Kaya soon. Armel, I don't even know what he's going to buy. They just want more towers, right? You just start walking down lanes. Almost level 25 on the Wisp as well, and then things get real crazy with the attack tethered allies target. Plus all the attack speed of an Alacrity. Like, that's going to be nuts. Look at the attack speed on both of these two cores right now.
Yeah, it's about to go off. I mean, he's tethering a Helm Creep for now, but I imagine as soon as the fight breaks out, he's going to be tethering Invoker or Bloodseeker, as we've seen a few times already.
Well, the Alacrity bonus is just nuts, because now Wisp gets that attack speed too when he's tethered, the hero being Alacrity. So I imagine they're just going to put everything on Bach. He's going to run in, and Armel's just going to do as he pleases from the back.
Well,
has the
Gabby
Abyssal finished.
Hit. Oh, doesn't quite hit 25 of that creep wave. I think one more creep or something there, so...
Yeah.
We'll see.
They're going to play conservatively
have
until
an
they get
answer.
it. Yeah. There it is.
They're poking at the racks, and there we go. Hits it, gets level 25, gets the attack tether targets. As Hookshot going to go in, but we're going to look to push the Bill into them. Immediately pops the Greaves. He's like melting as well as Natsumi on the gyrocopter. And even with the BKB, he's just dead. No answer for that one. Is Boomy's clockwork. Honestly, he missed a couple hookshots in the early game, but he has been so impressive with his initiations. And GG is gold.
That was nuts. I mean, Wisp, it got heavy nerfs, but this is still pretty damn strong. I think maybe the OB Neon draft was exploitable to an extent, but this was still really well done by TNC. Like, they hit that BKB timing and just never looked back. Like, this was dominant from their side.
And from looking at the eye, it felt like, maybe he was doing a lot less damage with the spirits because it was, 40. It was almost half the damage the spirits are doing with the impact, but he was just as unkillable as ever. So perhaps Carry IO is still going to be something that's featured in the new patch.
I think it's certainly likely, and also, shout out to SEA Dota, man. This is a team with OB Neon. They were 6th at the major. They come here, TNC. I think it certainly still go both ways, right? This is just good Dota. You can say that both these sides are certainly on the same tier, and like, how does that stack up against the world? It's probably pretty damn well. Looking to see how TNC continues to adjust, though. They need one more to take the final.
Yep, it kind of got out of control in the mid to late game, but definitely early on we saw a lot of signs of hope for Neon. They just couldn't quite get everything to click. We'll see if game 2 things can click a bit better as we head to a break, as well as go back to our panel to talk a bit more about what's coming with game number 2.
And I'm a proud Predator ambassador. My all-time favorite games would have to be Kingdom Hearts, Final Fantasy, FF9 to be more specific, and right now I'm really enjoying Valorant. I started playing video games at a really early age, probably around 3 years old. Actually, my mom would always say that she has been playing video games while she was pregnant with me and my sister, so I guess before we were even born. It was actually just me watching my older cousin, Kuya Lloyd, play Super Mario on the family computer. So yeah, he was the one who started it all for us. Right now, because I have a lot of things going on, probably around 4 to 5 hours per day, I would play video games. My most unforgettable gaming experience. Oh, okay. It was when my sister and we were really young and we were playing Final Fantasy VII, the original version, and my sister was having a stomach ache, or so she would tell me, that her stomach was painful at the time. And that was the part where we were looking for the lunar harp, so you have to dig through this mining campsite or something, and then when I finally found the harp, her stomach ache went away. So nauto ako dun. My favorite RPG character would be Kairi from Kingdom Hearts because, well, number 1, Kingdom Hearts is my favorite game. Number 2, I kind of relate to her because she's such a carefree person and she lives on the beach. My go-to food while playing video games would probably be chicken nuggets. Meanest tweet, I just remember people saying my sister and I aren't really gamers, but my favorite Predator product would probably be the Helio 700. It's so cool because when you open the thing and when you make it overclock, it turns the sound on and then it sounds like it's gonna transform, so it's just really cool. to be totally honest, I feel like 100 times cooler because aside from my sister, Alodia, also being a Predator ambassador, I'm also alongside so many notable people in the gaming industry. So that just makes me feel like, wow, I'm so cool being a Predator ambassador. Hi, I'm Alodia and I'm a proud Predator ambassador. My all-time favorite games would be World of Warcraft, Diablo, Silent Hill, Resident Evil, Alex Manus Returns, and now I play a lot of Call of Duty Warzone. I started playing video games the moment I gained consciousness, so that was 1 year old. I think the person who influenced my passion for gaming would be our cousin. His name is Kuya Lloyd, and he used to play a lot of video games when we were little. It depends on the day how many hours I play. So if I'm streaming, sometimes I play 8 hours, sometimes 4 hours, sometimes 12 hours. My most unforgettable gaming experience would be, we're big fans of Resident Evil, so I've been playing this since I was like 7 years old or younger. So I speed run through Resident Evil 2. And then many years after, maybe like 2016, I got a call and they said they would bring me and my sister to guest in the Resident Evil movie in South Africa. We're on the set of Resident Evil, and so we flew there and met Mila Jovovich. My favorite RPG character would be the Black Mages of Final Fantasy. That's actually where I got my in-game name, so I've been using it since Counter-Strike days. It's because Black Mages are really powerful, but they're actually super cute and clumsy and fragile, so I think that's me. I'm accident prone. So my go-to food when playing video games would be instant noodles with tons of mayonnaise. The meanest tweet would be, when people call us not gamers, because I don't know how they can say that. My whole life revolves around gaming. My favorite Predator item would be, I guess you guys know, it would be the Predator Thronos. I mean, that's definitely life-changing. I mean, everyone who actually sees it wants to try it. So it's like Disneyland at home. Being a Predator ambassador has definitely changed my lifestyle because it helped me not only with my passion in gaming, it actually
And so it seems that the IO is still in here. Well, at least my panelists think that it is still strong. It's not like the OP IO that we have seen before. Though I'm not sure about that. But then again, here we are, going to be analyzing that particular first game for the first best of 3 match and the only one, the grand finals of TNC going up against OB Neon. My name is Wolf, your panel host here for the Acer Predator League 2021 Grand Final Dota 2 Asia Pacific with Pau and Nathan, the Wolfpack. Boys, man, we kind of thought that OB Neon will just naturally dominate this game, but it was TNC doing all the right stops. And Pau is shaking his head. I wonder why. What does that game tell you, man?
I mean, I wasn't able to do my predictions last game, but not to say that I would have voted for TNC. What I was gonna say last game was that I don't know. I genuinely did not know what was gonna happen. There were a lot of question marks, right? this is gonna. It was an Exort Invoker. We hadn't seen it in a long time. It was going to be a new IO carry despite the damage nerf. And I love what Nate said. While we were off air or while we were watching the game, it's not OP anymore because it doesn't. When it was OP, it had damage and survivability.
Yeah.
Now it only has survivability. So maybe it's not OP, but it's strong. But over and above that, I think TNC in this game, drafts aside, because you can see like in the clip we're watching right now, it's 5 to 12, 20 minutes in, but Neon were still holding a lead, right? So you could see that, it wasn't an out draft by any means. What I will say is TNC's decision making in terms of where to be in the map, what items they were getting, I think that's really what punished Neon, honestly, in this game. Double blade mails purchased because all of the damage on Neon are indiscriminate, meant that it was really hard to play Leshrac this game. And shout outs to Boomy and Balk being in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
Look at that beautiful hook shot in. They punished Japoy so much in the early game that a lot of the pressure was on Skem. We saw Japoy, I wouldn't criticize him for his play. I'm not a mid player. I don't know what was going on, but it really did look like a lot of his early Astral steps in were punished by TNC. So that's props for TNC being able to, scout him out, delay a lot of his impacts, and in the end, even though Neon had better side lane pressure because of the Leshrac, TNC had the time to just get their blade mails. The triple BKB timing was perfect. It was in sync, and from that point forward, they just kept running at Neon. So TNC, I would say, this is no outdraft by any means. I feel it's an outplay. It's just better decision making for TNC at this point.
Well, would you agree with that, Nate? And the fact that we kind of felt that way, that TNC, especially in the mid game up until the early parts of the late game, we see TNC Predator starting the fights better. Neon, OP Neon, making some mistakes, and then those mistakes were amplified by how Bok played, how the Raptures were placed, and how well the TNC's hero players and heroes are positioned around the map.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to be able to go too much into
10
detail, but I
seconds
basically
remaining.
agree what Pao mentioned. I think a lot of what enables
5
OB Neon
seconds remaining.
is definitely how Japoy plays the mid lane. He doesn't lose many mid lane matchups, and the way that he plays during the mid game as well, just getting solo kills, making so much space around for the whole team. I feel that was what was lacking, I think, for Neon. But yeah, I agree with every point with what Pao mentioned earlier.
We like the task so much for OB Neon. These are those kind of heroes that will make you feel confident if you're watching both TNC and OB Neon, knowing that there's a lot of emphasis on the laning stage and in the early stages, in the early rotations, right? And Tusk always allows that a hero that will, if you're a fan of OB Neon, will make you at least confident on knowing that they can be aggressive and that they can make the plays. But there's the Puck and the Beastmaster banned out by OB Neon. TNC Predator, they themselves banned the IO, knowing that OB Neon is first pick.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
honestly just watching
go
it a
for it,
while
sorry,
ago.
Pao.
No, I was just saying, just watching it a while ago,
TNC
it wasn't
Predators
dealing out
turn
damage. It was Armel dealing the damage, but
Yeah,
still immortal.
the AC Alacrity Exort Wex Invoker. By the time 2021 to actually watch that.
They got the Earth Spirit
10
for
seconds
Tim's
remaining.
probably on the side of TNC. Something that you were looking for, Pao.
Dire
Yeah, I
team
just wanted Tim to
Bloodseeker.
be a little bit more aggressive, but TNC, they pick up the Bloodseeker again.
Dire
Bloodseeker
team
gaining
back.
a lot of stock. Again, the Rupture buff
TNC
is
Predators
here. And
turn to ban.
Neon are going back to, I think, their comfort pick from the major, right? This
Yep.
looks like, if this was a major, really looks like the kind of draft that they would go for. First pick Tusk into the Troll, immediately going to ban the Razor. And
Yep.
now they have two counter
10
picks for
seconds
whatever
remaining.
TNC plans to do.
Dire team back.
Interesting that OB Neon went for the Usually, we're used
TNC
to the
Predators
order
turn
of
to ban.
picks from before this patch, wherein you don't get those combo picks plus ban. This time, it's a throw ordered into the Razor ban, so instantly done that kind of feels like it's all tailored for Obini, and it's a ton of those new things that we can see in the
10
recent patch as
seconds
the
remaining.
captain's mode was modified a little bit.
Yeah, used to be 1-2-1-2, now it's
seconds remaining.
1-2-2-1. Yeah, I think TNC sort of just
Dire
preemptively
team
saying,
back.
you know what, these guys, they play Pangolier whenever they have the chance to do so. Let's just pick up the Bloodseeker just in case, and it
Predators
worked
turn
for
to
us
ban.
last game, so why not?
Going to be the Mirana for TNC. They have not seen in a long time, but as we have seen in the previous draft, we had an emphasis with the Elder Titan. It's all banned once again.
10
OB
seconds
Neon.
remaining.
I definitely agree with the Invoker ban, as
5
TNC
seconds
Brothers
remaining.
showed so much strength with that particular pick onto Armel, one of the players that can actually handle that Invoker so well. And now the OD, it's also a nod to the fact that they are trying to make this Troll Warlord work,
Yeah.
as both bans direct towards the counters onto the Troll Warlord.
Think it's basically just, you know, Neon protecting their troll pick, like you mentioned. Of course, you have the
TNC
Astral
Predators
Imprisonment that
turn
could
to
make
pick.
the troll be kind of useless. Razor obviously is sort of self-explanatory with the static link. The Invoker, you know, with the troll sometimes he doesn't go for an early BKB, and you know that's where Invoker shines. If you don't have a BKB, I'll throw Tornado, I'll throw Cold Snap, you know, I'll throw Deafening Blast.
10
You just won't be able to
seconds
do too much
remaining.
against it. So yeah, sort of just interested to see what TNC pick up here
5
next. They've been
seconds
banning
remaining.
purely supports, basically, I think, for the whole second phase. So that's a lot of support bans. You know, ET, Mirana, Grimstroke, respecting
think-
definitely Januel,
Dire
and maybe
team
even
pick.
Playhard.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Wyvern.
oof, I love it. I love this pick. I think the buffs right now were directed more for the Winter's Curse. I was thinking maybe they could go for something like an Oracle or a Winter Wyvern, but they did go with the Winter Wyvern just overall.
10 seconds
I
remaining.
guess just the winner of the patch lottery, right? So Arctic
5
Burn
seconds
cooldown has been
remaining.
reduced. The Winter's Curse, the cooldown has been reduced. It looks like a really strong pick. OB Neon have been trying to protect this troll pick, but looks like TNC Predator have a little bit of an answer at least.
Yeah, especially against the physical damage, I would say, of Neon
Yeah,
Esports, right?
There's
You,
also a full
um,
embrace.
yeah, you have of course tag team. You have the right click from the troll, but there was sort of an interesting build that I saw before, especially for example when you pick troll and you just had no choice where the opponents would pick Razor. You sort of just went for proc items on the troll warlord. You know, you'd go for items like Diffusal or Maelstrom, MKB. That was, I think, when MKB was still pretty strong at the time. You know, yeah, you take away my damage, but my attack speed's real quick. I can still proc these items, Basher maybe even, you know, just to be able to kill the opponent, even though you're static link. It was something, and it's okay, I guess, versus the Cold Embrace, but no promises for sure nowadays. We have seen Diffusal buffed a little bit in recent times, so maybe that could be a build. Pretty awkward on
10
Troll, but a Rubik
seconds
pick now
remaining.
on Neon. A lot of ultimates on the other side. You know, I think Rupture,
5
Bloodright,
seconds remaining.
Winter's Curse, these three skills already make a huge team fight turnaround, maybe. Possibility for Neon going into those mid-game team fights.
Dire team pick.
Well, it's going to be a quick pick now. It's going to be the Queen of Pain for TNT Bear. A lot of reminiscent to what they did earlier on, where they want to push the tempo, but this time it's on the Queen of Pain. Most likely in the mid lane. What I do like
Yeah, I
about the
think-
Queen of Pain
I
is
think it
there's a
might
lot of AoE damage to go with
10
the Earth
seconds
Spirit.
remaining.
Imagine this in a team fight. The Bloodseeker will get so much procs onto the
5
thirst.
seconds remaining.
That makes it so that he will make so much impact if the team fight does go in favor of TNT Predator.
I think what I will say is that now OB Neon they have better
Dire
lockdown. I think one of
team
the other
back.
things that was really
Admiral
hard for them to do
Tonka.
last
Wow.
game. Oh, I love this pick. The Kunkka has been buffed a little bit. Some of his skills have been rebalanced, but I feel like the combination of Brazers being a little better, just having more
10
regen
seconds
in the
remaining.
mid lane if this goes into the mid lane. I feel like this might be a good
5
Kunkka
seconds
game.
remaining.
That being said, it is a Queen of Pain. It's good though because you still have the X marks to keep people in place. But right now, Neon, again, more lockdown, more abilities to control a team fight, what they were desperately lacking last game.
Yeah, something maybe even to take note of probably is the Kunkka being able to X mark and TP back home to be able to refill bottle and maybe even you know, just kind of help himself to stay in the lane a little bit better, because you know that you're going to be playing against this Queen of Pain potentially at mid lane, and you know this Queen of Pain gets almost every single rune. You know, it's just so hard. Even though you got 2 runes, you have this Earth Spirit that's going to be really pesky. It's going to be hard for you to be able to maybe connect with this Tusk, especially since Kunkka is not really the kind of hero that kind of benefits from the tag team. Yeah, you can output a little bit of damage, but you know, by no means is Kunkka the kind of hero that goes, oh, tag team, nice, right click, right click, right click. He's kind of got a slow kind of attack speed, I would say, for the Kunkka, but tag team plus troll warlord definitely is something that maybe
It's kind of enough,
look
right?
out for. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask Nate actually. I'm looking at what TNC Predator lack, and it kind of looks like they still lack a hard carry. Off camera, we were talking about Phantom Lancer and the buffs that it was getting. You think Phantom Lancer might be good in this game? OB Neon, they have some damage, but not the type that's really going to scale unless they build this Kunkka with right
TNC
Yeah,
Predators
I think
turn to
the
ban.
PL, especially with the diffusal buff, right? And then I think there were a few changes to PL as well that made me kind of say that maybe PL is a good hero now. It's not too bad versus the troll. Of course, the troll can still potentially go that magic damage route with the Aghanims, right? And the Maelstrom maybe
10
even.
seconds
The Eternal
remaining.
Shroud, which could make the PL's life a little hard, but
5
honestly,
seconds
who cares
remaining.
as long as you're taking away their mana, you know? And of course, the tricks that you can play out with it, I think it's not too bad, especially since if you look at TNC, you know, they got heroes that can make space for the PL. Potentially, you've got the Earth Spirit that's always playing aggressive. You got the Bloodseeker that's always got Rupture up. You know, Winter Wyvern is always there to help you out just in case the fight gets a little too frisky. Queen of Pain can play aggressive even from the laning stage as well. So I think PL's not too bad, and it could go that way, especially with the Underlord ban.
How about Timbersaw? We did not see that in this particular draft, but
that is true.
before it
I
was
think
also...
Neon are able
Shut-
to, but there's a lot of
Yeah.
magic damage and there is Rupture, so I feel like
Yeah.
TNC Predator are set up to
10
to
seconds
counter
remaining.
a Timbersaw,
Yeah.
unless Neon feel absolutely
5
confident
seconds
in it.
remaining.
Not entirely sure. It's also easier now to punish a Timbersaw in the early game just because they
Yeah.
removed a lot
Yeah.
of the regen in the first 3 levels, actually. It's still okay once you get to the mid game. Just and the other thing is that there's a lot of wave clear on TNC, so I feel like a
Yeah.
Timbersaw, it only really pushes because of the creep wave. Not really gonna be that well positioned. I could be
What
wrong.
about for TNC,
New
though?
patch. Like, hard carry. Looks like a hard carry.
I don't know about a Bloodseeker hard carry, honestly. It's,
Carry,
it's
yeah.
kind of
Same.
awkward, especially since
TNC
you can get burst down so
Predators
easily
turn
by
to
the
hit.
Kunkka. No,
Mars,
Mars
there
is
you
going to
go.
be the pickup.
I
Actually,
love
a
the
hero
Mars.
that was sort of first phase banned or picked for
Just
for
two-
a
just
long
2 days
time throughout
ago?
this tournament. Yeah, exactly. So
Just 2 days
interested
ago,
that,
and now
that it makes it all the
it's
way
still
here. Don't remember if there were any changes that sort of broke or
10
buffed the
seconds
hero,
remaining.
but yeah, for TNC,
Choose
it'll
your
pick up the
hero.
Bristleback
Bristleback.
carry.
That is the
Right.
hard
Oh, wow.
carry, I'm
Yeah.
inclined to believe.
It
I think
kind
for
of
the
looks like
side
the
of
Bristleback
TNC.
carry.
Yeah. It's going to be Bristleback going up against all these heroes of OB Neon. I like the lane staying power of TNC. I think that they have that in their department for sure. For OB Neon, the kind of team fights, you have Rubik Tusk to start it. You have Mars. You have Kunkka. Actually, so many ways to start it. And this is also a lineup that can really activate the Troll Warlord. The bigger question is, what do we like better? I guess very quickly, I want to ask for your opinion about this. Perhaps just on to win conditions. What do you think, Pao? Who do you think have the upper hand in this particular game?
I feel like the Troll Warlord still is a pretty good win condition, honestly. Although in this game, the changes to, now he has Rampage, doesn't really favor the rest of his team that much. That being said, there's a lot more control for OB Neon. I think it can go either way, but I'm leaning slightly for the TNC draft, just because it
Okay.
looks like they can deal with the damage of the Troll.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's all down to Japoi, really, I think, for
Yeah.
Neon, right? If Japoi can perform, Neon gets just so much more space to be able to perform a bit better. And yeah, I mean, on a Kunkka, we'll see if he can do that.
Oh, the best thing about it is is that OB Neon are now fighting because TNC are at match point. It's going to be an interesting game number 2 in this grand final. Let's turn it over to Kyle and Gods.
Thanks a lot, guys. We're here. It's game 2. TNC, 1 game away from taking the championship, and OB Neon, Kyle, looking to bounce back. You liking what you see out of them as far as their adjustments go, or you're liking TNC here?
I love the Bristle last pick. This is one of my favorite heroes, one of my best through multiple MOBAs. I think that the fact that they're putting on an Armel, likely mid, and then Gabby on the safe lane Quap is a really cool adjustment. Should give them favorable lanes in both scenarios. And there's just no answer to Bristleback. I look at this draft, I'm like, holy crap, like Bristle actually just kills everything. You are so good against all 3 of these strength cores, and they just don't have anything for Bristleback, man. They got nothing.
Yeah, I'm surprised to see the Armel and the Bristle. I saw Queen of Pain. I'm just like, sweet, we're gonna get to see an Armel Queen of Pain. But yeah, safe lane Queen of Pain coming out. This feels like something that can catch OB Neon by surprise when it comes to these lanes.
It's I think that they'll know. One of the things about TNC is that it's pretty much always Armel going mid, so they should see.
Yeah,
but it might have thrown them like they're gonna 5-man smoke too. I don't think they'll catch anything, but it would certainly be nice if they could. Tusk level 1 roaming potential. We saw this to great success at the major as well.
I think the hard thing is for OB Neon is like they can't swap their lanes to match, because it seems like they dodged this Quap versus Kunkka matchup where Kunkka can always take the harass, then XTP home. Instead, it's going to be a Bristle mid, and Quap gets to dominate a Mars now with Shadow Strike instead. So not easy to adjust your lanes if you're OB Neon.
Let's see here. They're gonna hide. I don't think they're gonna catch anything, but it's always worth a shot.
Both teams saying hello to each other from across the river. Tag team's already been leveled up here. TNC, the slow does catch Bog, and again with the taxi, that's a lot of slow. They push him back as well as Tim's going to snipe the bounty rune, but Bog may die for this. First blood picked up by the Boots Tusk.
Is that worth it? I mean, it's a bounty rune for the first blood.
Well, the gold favors TNC. They've got a gold lead, so maybe it's not worth it. Probably very, very similar gold exchange, I would imagine. Who actually got the first blood? It was the Tusk, so not a hero that's going to like crush the lanes with. Like if you're mid lane against it, I think you're happy with OB Neon.
I think not.
Yeah, I think the Wyvern is the big equalizer as well. We saw this a bunch at the major too. It's so good against physical damage, especially you look at this OB Neon draft. It's 3 cores that all do primary physical plus a Tusk. So later on in the game, you're going to be able to squander an enemy BKB just by ulting them. You get the Cold Embrace for the damage reduction.
By the way, Quap, level 1 Blink got buffed, utilizing it to swap from top lane, Kyle. Just blinking her way across the map with that new 12-second cooldown.
I'd
love to see it.
Yeah, this is great too, because if you get a favorable matchup in the offlane as a Quap, you really just don't feel bad at all. This is a scenario you like to be in, and Mars was the matchup they wanted. You're just going to spam Q on Skem, and he's going to have a tough time sustaining. You hit really hard, and you don't really catch too many God's Rebukes because you are such a long-range hero. He does catch one there, though.
You know, intentional. He's just like, he's farming magic 6 charges.
Let us fight.
And you see, yeah, Quap, once you start getting those levels, this lane's going to feel pretty tricky for the Mars, who he's going to need a lot of regen to sustain. Over in the mid lane, you've got the Armel versus Yopaj 1v1, Bristle versus Kunkka. Bit of a farm fest, I imagine. I mean, you're the Bristle expert, Kyle. What do we expect here?
I'd say a trade. I don't think either hero is really going to get a definitive advantage. You just push the lane, you farm, and that's that.
I guess Bristle's slightly better at falling back and taking stacks later on. That's if these supports have time to make the stacks. That's where Bristle can perhaps pull ahead.
Yeah, what Bristle can do really well is pull creep waves to camps and then farm both with Quill spam.
Yeah. Something yeah, I guess Kunkka, you kind of can do it with the cleat, but definitely nowhere near to the same extent that Bristle can.
Yeah.
Top lane, they've gone in on Mars, and this is the matchup they wanted, and the matchup they're going to look to crush. Although Tim's maybe going to pay for this with his life. Does go down as Gabby has to aggro some tower hits off of him. They get the kill, but they trade one for one.
Step lively now.
You can see us, Armel just farming easy camp and the creep wave same time. There's nothing you can really do about it if you're Paj. You can try and steal some
That's
creeps
cool.
though.
He takes the Kunkka's side, like he knows, like oh, he also knows the boundary rune spawning. Armel, wow, already taking advantage of some of those changes. That's a free bottle refill. There's so many ways to refill your bottle with these runes that occur so often.
I saw the bottle nerf. I'm like, oh, well, we won't see as many. But then I'm like, oh, wait, there's like nearly twice as many runes. Well, I guess same number of runes about, but it's so much easier now as a mid player to get them. With the 5-minute spawn, it's like, maybe I'll get one, right? Now, every 3 minutes, you can pretty much guarantee you'll be at one of those bounties.
Yeah, because you were never, very rarely would you get a double bottle refill at 5 minutes. If anything, it was kind of inefficient because you're spending too much time out of your lane. So yeah, this does seem to be maybe return of these bottle-dependent mids who can spam out waves. We're going to see some very farming mids, which is, you know, perhaps a Bristle special. As Bristle, like you said, farming the jungle as well as the lane.
The dusk is always ready for a fight.
4-minute runes. They push Kunkka away.
I'm surprised.
And Armel will get another free bottle refill.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't get any points in the queue. It got buffed in the last patch, 1.5 armor, level 1. And it'd be so good in this spot. Like, you have so much catch if you have it.
Irpaj forced to TP to his tier 1 tower. As Armel maybe just going to taste down Yanuel here. And 1 or 2 more quills and he's going to get this kill. Needs an ice shard block. Doesn't quite get close enough for the quill damage though.
1 point Q, man. That's a kill. It's only 12 mana. 12 mana, gods. It's so good.
It sounds pretty damn good. I guess, you know, he wants that farming, but the sacrifice would be 1 less point in the bristleback maybe.
Were you dreaming?
Yeah, I mean, you go one exactly like that. That's just standard. I had thought I've seen a lot of players getting that early point in queue because it's also about getting warpath stacks. You cannot get to max warpath even at only level 1 with 5 stacks by just spamming quill spray. You need to have both actives available.
Great play from Gabby, gets the kill up top, but may pay for this. The tower damage with the support rotation does end up bringing him down. As Mars, you know, taking out both the Earth Spirit and the Queen of Pain up top, but
Step lively
does
now.
see Queen of Pain get a kill here. Bloodseeker down bottom now in some trouble, Bok getting chased back to his tower. Very Utsumi. Haven't talked much about his troll. Does feel like, you know, troll. Just, okay, not what Bok had in mind. Insta Bok, is that like a BM pause? I don't know what that, Gabby gonna tip the troll here. I mean, this does feel like a pretty good game for troll as far as not having anything that really completely ruins this game. Perhaps the Wyvern. We haven't seen much Wyvern.
Yeah. It is really just the Wyvern, and I would say the Quap can be very annoying too, but it's an awfully, like, Gabby's not having the greatest game, so I don't think he's going to be super concerned, and realistically, the thing about troll is that you're just going to farm way faster than all these heroes. You're going to buy Battle Fury, and you're going to hit creeps.
Europaj getting gone on here. You mentioned this is the level 1 goo. Would have probably got that kill there, but Armel not going to have it.
It only takes 1. He's never going to skip it again. I can guarantee it.
Think he gets it at level 7, or is he going to get another point in quills?
I would get it at level 7, but I think he's just going to go quills at this point and look to farm some stacks. But I mean, again, the reason Q, it's 12 mana, 1.5 second cooldown, 1.5 armor, and but a 20% slow on that initial stack. Like it lasts. It's so good. Also, no, sorry, it's 2 armor plus 1.5.
Hold that thought, Kunkka. He got too low, and there's a Bloodseeker in the game. Trying to farm and make some stacks here. He made a nice stack. Guess what? Now Brixel's like, your stack? No, this is my stack now. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Happily. has a DD rune. Honestly, this Bristle is looking out of control with all the runes he's picked up. It's 6 minutes in the game, and I feel like he's had like 5 runes.
Yeah, Armel's done a great job at rune control. Like that, Bristle literally turns mana into gold and hero damage. And when you get this many, you start to feel so strong. Early the phase boots, I would have liked to see him actually grab a soul ring. I think you just, when you're this far ahead, like just more mana. Always more mana.
Probably part of his mind's like, I don't need more mana, I'm getting all these runes. But yeah, he's actually using so many quill sprays that he's going through it, and he's got big stacks to fall back to. Level 4 quill sprays, and I think this is where the 4th point in quill sprays is easily justified.
Oh, yeah.
This is where his build kicks in. Goo would not help you farm this. If anything, that 1 point in Bristleback might not be enough to take this step.
Yep. And now, yep, you get the cold embrace, and now you can heal him, but it still takes the damage. So I believe it still procs the back spine. But yeah, look at, oh my, so much gold.
Ooh. That's, yeah, 1,200 gold now to pick up his Ring of Health. Whatever he wants to do. There was a kill down bottom. Bloodseeker died again to the troll, but we are all focused on how well this Bristleback is doing.
He got a level and a half. Boomy got 2 full levels off of that. And the net worth exploded, as you said. Like, that is brutal. And yes, sure, Troll is farming, but he's going for the Maelstrom build. And in addition, Bristle is 24 pick for a reason here. There is no real counter. No one's buying a Silver Edge. If he gets to a point where you don't have the damage to take him down, then you just have to ignore him, much like you would a Timbersaw.
They have a rune battle coming out. They rotate with Arno. Can they bring him down? They bring in 3 heroes with the tag team. The Mars Arena command as well, but he gets caught in the cold embrace. That's going to keep him alive a bit longer. And they get him out of this one. It looks like Armel's going to be just fine.
What?
You know, I think Armel's saying, my build's better than yours, Kyle. I think having these 3 points in Bristleback is kind of paying off, not going to lie.
It's just, that's the trouble. Like, you see the spear, but you speared him. His Bristleback still reduces damage from that Mars Arena. So you're not actually hurting him at all. He's going to have a Vanguard momentarily, and then he just does not take damage. Troll is all about these little attacks. Build up the fervor stacks. You're going to be reduced by so much.
Well, that's looking rough, and now, you know, the Court Bloodseeker have been pretty silent, but they've got level 6s, level 7, so they can have an impact on this game despite having a rough lane stage. And you know, Troll has crushed his lane, but he's 1,000 gold behind this Bristle. That's just how insanely farm this Bristle has managed to get.
Radiant are scanning.
Just really good play. I think that the main lesson here, and something we're going to see, is these mid heroes that have the ability to play behind enemy tier 1 and thus control enemy bounty. Like that, that seems pretty damn strong, and it's really awkward to try and rotate to your own jungle to control bounties at 3 minutes, 6 minutes into a game.
Bristle now with complete Vanguard. He still says, I'm not done farming stacks. I'm going to go farm some more.
Yep.
Wyvern happily continuing to just create more and more stacks for him. And by proxy, get some gold himself.
Radiant structures are fortified.
I mean, what's the play if you're Neon? Are you just thinking you can win some of these mid-game teamfights with a farm troll? Like, you mentioned they have no answer for the Bristle. Are they just going to be able to ignore him and win the game with their own kind of, you know, win conditions?
I don't think so, to be quite honest. And it's, you got to think of this Bristle as like this patch's Timbersaw in a way. The difference is that Bristle has that ability to stay offensive, to run at enemies. You have your own slow. Now he's a DD. He's just going to smack these heroes.
And they already committed the boat, so there's some damage block for Yopaj, but he gets stunned before he can TP out. The arena is there to try and bail him out. Armo gets stuck to the arena. He's not going to die here, but he will slow him down a little bit, but he's still just going to shred through them. With the DD, you mentioned Stolen Cold Embrace, doing a nice job saving the snowball there as well. Armo just sitting in his ally Bloodright is just going to absolutely annihilate them.
Oh no,
kill for him. Looking for a third, triple kill for Armo. Armo's not done. He's on the bloodbath here as Bloodseeker looking to charge forward. It could be play hard next. Is it going to be the ultra kill? You betcha. Mars the only survivor.
Oh, an agent stack. Thank you very much, guys. Wow. Wow. Yeah. He is Assange. Like, he is unstoppable. Like,
he's not.
Yeah, dude. He's 3,000 gold ahead of the troll at 11 minutes into the game.
Is under attack.
He's going to have, like, Halberd before the troll has Maelstrom at this rate. Maybe not quite, but my god. And mid-tower dies for free.
Free tier 1 tower still is, that's the thing, he's getting his own stacks from the Wyvern and he's taking, and that's the second time this game he's taking any stacks. Absolutely catastrophic for Neon. They yeah, this has got to be desperation mode. We're 11 minutes in, but everything is kind of falling apart for them. They don't have the damage for Bristle. They're 3 cores. do not deal with Bristle, as you've kind of mentioned several times, and I don't know what the answer is going to be. What help me out here, Kyle.
I'm thinking, man. I don't know.
Doesn't feel like any kind of like Spirit Vessel's going to change a whole lot. They are going to find a Ruptured kick now down on Scam at bottom lane. He's in trouble. Look for a TP out. Is there a cancel? Boomy couldn't quite get in range for a Winter's Curse. I believe it was out of range because of the arena, or it just chose not to use it.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about it is, it's the lack of threat for the Bristle that makes this game here impossible. There's the smoke.
Yeah.
They smoke
Dire's
away
top
from the
tower
Bristleback
is
to
under
the Quap,
attack.
as if that's an easy target to take down.
That's for me.
Yeah, this Quap seems to see something coming, hiding in the
Dire's
trees.
bottom
If you
tower
catch the
is
Quap with
under
the X,
attack.
you know, there's a Rubik as well. Definitely can be a kill, but
No,
yeah, I think
so I
Gabby
love-
knows. It's like, they're not going to gank the Bristle, they're going to gank me.
Yeah, I love this because that's what Bristle gives you. Armel was running through enemy jungle. He's like, guys, there's nobody here. Like, where could they possibly be, right? No one's showing bottom. No one's in the bottom triangle. They have to be in that area that you saw circled by Boomy. And now they're going to run right into it with Armel. Hey, guys, what's up?
Armel's down to play. Playing in the enemy jungle, stealing every bit of enemy farm on the map he can.
Is
As
under
Queen of
attack.
Pain snipes the Rubik with the help of the Earth Spirit. Absolutely terrible start for OB Neon. They're
Has
already
been
down in
killed.
the game. Things looking like they're already out of control
Oh, yeah.
here in game number 2.
And this is the new TNC, right? Couple of roster changes, but this is kind of what we've come to expect from this stack. You know, TNC Predator just been pretty much,
Dire's top tower
I'd say
is
top
under
of
attack.
SEA for how long
Radiant
now? Like
are
3
scanning.
years? Always in that conversation for top 3?
Yeah. It feels like it's been them and Fnatic for like you say, the last 2 or 3 years, and even maybe before Fnatic. TNC was like the last 5 years. TNC has been top 2, top 3 in SEA consistent,
Dire's top tower
with just, you know,
is
the
falling.
occasional underperformance in some of these online events, like not making it to the major. And Sumi just one more kill. No, gets the ultimate off.
Heist.
Not gonna lifesteal off of it. He's just gonna
Oh,
be
no.
pulling deeper, unfortunately. Natsumi, there's no way you get this one alive as Bok. Okay. The mischance on him. Jason's on though, as Bristleback is just
Dire's bottom
using
tower
everyone
is
out of
under
this one. Natsumi, well, he got the ulti off, but it just delayed the inevitable.
Yeah, I'd be considering GGing out. It's 10
Yeah.
to 6, but it's like, what do we do, guys?
If it wasn't the
I-
grand final, perhaps. Oh, the setup, the Winter's Curse. There's a Sonic Wave to follow this one up, and they get annihilated. Down goes the Rubik. Could be DeVille next. Scam. No escape for him. One more Scream to finish him off. The roll is there. The Scream 2. He's in kind of a 1 versus 4 situation. I don't think he wants to be here at all. Like you say, this is entering potential GG territory. Tusk shows up. Guys, you're already outnumbered. It's 5 versus 2. Why are you showing up to fight? Yanuel, well, no, they're going to roll it through. Miss him and catch Yopaj instead. That's going to get your kill. That's the mid-punk effect. They're diving enemy tier 3 towers with this Bristle. He is just unstoppable. Tim's maybe a bit off more than he can chew. He is going to go down, but Armel, I don't think he's afraid of dying here. They'll get out. Only losing the Earth Spirit. And by the way, they got another Tusk kill.
How did he... The Earn
I
Charge?
guess. Oh, yeah, what else could it? Yeah, it must have been Earn Charges. There was no Magnetize, so yeah. I'm still an Earn Charge on him.
Yeah, me too. That must have been like last tick. Orchid finished on Quap. And this is the thing. I will say, Bristle can fall off at a point. It's the weakness of the hero. And as we even remember from the TI finals, you know, if you go out of mana, your hero falls off because your entire kit is built around maintaining maximum warpath stacks. But like, none of these heroes are agility. No one's buying Diffusal. There's no Necrobook anymore in the game. What do you do?
Radiant's bottom
Here we need some
tower is
Diffusal
under
troll.
attack.
That's what I'm hearing.
I actually think it would not be a bad decision. In fact, I think over Maelstrom it might have been a better choice in this game. The problem is you still have this Quap to deal with. The Bloodseeker is still causing some issues. Now they're just going to walk into the Roach pit. Why not?
What can we do about this? Feels like nothing at all.
Radiant's
They've
bottom tower
been
is
well
under
and
attack.
truly trumped by this final pick Bristleback, and OB Neon did not see it coming. You know, they saw this Queen of Pain and just, I guess, assumed there was going to be a Quap mid, and suddenly a Bristleback comes out and just farms the entire map. Roche will go down for free. I don't think do they even give it to Bristle? It feels like Gabby looks like he's taking it because this Bristle is unkillable.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
And I like that decision because the benefit of the Bristol, let's say you were able to kill him in a team fight, how much is that going to take? And
Radiant's
you
bottom
now
tower
let
has fallen.
Gabby play far more aggressive, and Armel can continue to just be this guy running in full Divide. and you just don't really sweat it. If he ends up going down, like, you know, his team will have 30 seconds to do as they please in the rest of the fight. You see them cutting the line.
Yeah.
Control
Radiant's
enemy jungle
bottom
is the name of the
tower
game.
is under attack.
Make their way towards top, like you say. They want to make sure that there is this very few scraps of farm to grab. Scam on his Mars has managed to scrounge together a blink dagger by farming down in this bottom side of the map. But we'll see if that's going to... I mean, they still have damage problems. It just feels like even with a blink dagger for some setup, it's not going to change the outcome of these fights.
They need to get Armel some mana, though. This could be a little more difficult.
Gabby, TP in. Tim's doesn't have a TP cancel.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Yeah, Armel not going for that mana regen talent, opting for the movement speed. I think he may even be regretting that because it feels like he's constantly been at 100 mana or less for like the last 5 minutes.
Yep.
Movement speed is nice, but
yeah. It helps you scale better. Like later on in the game, when you, especially with the Warpath levels, it's really nice because it truthfully becomes more like 40 move speed rather than 20 because of the stacking bonuses. But as you said, it just mana becomes gold, and you see Armel actually TPing to base, not for health. He's just fine on that as always. I want to see him grab. Yep, I was gonna say mana potions.
Radiant's middle tower is
Gotta have
under
a
double
couple more.
claries. Hey, those claries are nerfed, so even less mana coming out of them. But yeah, mana, I feel like a lot of the mana regen items got nerfed on this patch. Nice Frog making life rough.
I think that's the right choice, though, because the thing is, it made health regen, I think, a little overvalued. You didn't actually need too much mana regen to stay on map because you were just chaining clarities.
Got it.
And I think that had to be toned a bit. Like, supports could just have tranquils and clarities, and they would always be ready to fight, and that was a bit awkward.
What I'm hearing is return of support Pugna to be a mana bot for your teammates.
I think we gotta leave that back in 2012.
I remember, it was just like a year or two ago, I think OG were running a lot of support Pugna, right?
Yeah.
Remember some of those online tournaments with Saxa playing a lot of Pugna?
Does Bristle got the Quicksilver amulet? It's so good on the. You always have a spell on cooldown, or you're not spamming your W if you well enough.
Jump in.
Top.
Well, that's the Aegis down, but here comes the cleanup. Well, maybe not. Bristle's pretty far away, but it's Bot on the Bloodseeker just charging with a Rupture. Another Blood Right coming out. Nice stun coming in. The roll from Tim's gets the slow and a couple of gold. Mars within the arena could be able to bring down the Bloodseeker. Yep, Playhard snipes it. Here comes the charred boat. Tim's getting low, and Bristleback was just on the other side of the map for this one. So finally, it would be Neon get the better of TNC for now.
Ooh, thought about ulting there. And yeah, they just didn't have the Bristle running in. That's how you need to fight if you're OB Neon. Get these pickoffs. Fight away from the Bristleback. Do not let RML dictate where these engagements go down.
Yeah.
Gabby, he's in trouble.
Yeah, he already lost the Aegis.
Oh,
Gets
nice
pulled back in
silence.
with the X, the blink out. Oh. Another cleave. Oh, gets him. Yopaj. A kill. That's basically, you can't kill the Bristle. Pop's the best kill you can get. He made paper with his life. Yopaj getting slowed down by Armel. Is there going to be an escape here? Does have a TP if he can find himself in a nice spot. Winter's Curse available though, as it's a stolen Blood Right for coming in from Playhard, making all kinds of plays. The TP out from the Kunkka, and Neon don't lose any. At least not yet. Neon maybe going to lose to Bill here. He's trapped in the trees, no escape for him, but they're more than happy to take this fight and only lose a Mars if that's the case.
Oh,
Problem is, it may not.
Dude, that stolen Blood Right is the only reason this fight lasts so long for Neon. That is so long range. I think Armel fought it twice, and the silence, not even the damage, is a big threat. Although pure damage is pretty damn nice, especially with that spell amp against a hero like Bristle.
Yeah, Rubik did more damage than Kunkka or Mars in that fight. 3k hero damage to Kunkka's 2.8. Definitely look good for the Rubik here. Perhaps going to see a bit more emphasis on taking him down for like heroes like the Earth Spirit, the Quap, and the Bloodseeker. Looks like the toss. They know Manuel is nearby, and they're going to get him with a Winter's Curse here. Faces on. They will pick him off.
Admiral is on board.
Let's see. I'm trying to think, how do you close this if you're TNC? I mean, the Assault Cuirass on Armel will certainly help. But the team fight from Neon is starting to get a little spooky. They have the BKB on Troll, soon to have one on Yopaj as well.
Step lively now. Your
Mid lane, they get a spear back onto Bok. It doesn't quite latch onto the trees though. He gets pushed out of the arena, actually. Doesn't quite get caught in that one, but he's incredibly low anyways. Gets the rupture out as well. Rubik still with this stolen blood right, just making all kinds of plays. This silence on Bristleback causing problems. The spear back on the Bristle. The Troll's trying to bring him down. Is the damage there? Doesn't look like it just yet, but he is going to get low. He does go down. Natsumi, the Sonic Wave, not there in time to kill him off. He does end up dying. Just Gabby with the BKB charging it head first. Takes out Play Hard. Gabby just uncountered with that BKB. And now Jimmy running in forward. The Wyvern looking to set things up for Tims and Gabby. They roll in. They get the backline. Mars Heath goes down. Wyvern willing to throw away his life. The TP cancel coming out from Tims. Tims with these low cooldowns just destroying them in this fight. And Ock is back. He's full back. And he is going to absolutely clean up this mess as TNC. They may have lost the Bristle, but you kind of mentioned it earlier. If he does die, he's going to buy his teammates a hell of a lot of time to do just this. Wipe out OB Neon.
Yeah, really well played there by Gabby. Just playing the outskirts of the fight, making sure he stays alive, had full mana, was able to commit throughout the entire duration of that fight. And it is a little split. You can see Troll does pack a serious punch if they're able to make sure he's hitting Armel in the face. And it's not over yet. I mean, that BKB on Troll, they don't really have too much for it. That did force a buyback. Boomy, not really the greatest positioning. I think I don't know if his spells were on cooldown, but he couldn't really help Bach one bit. Who's also gone for this full utility build, no BKB in sight.
Middle tower
It feels like the
attack.
Wyvern, like if Wyvern gets this Blink Dagger up, has the Aether Lens, maybe just wasn't enough cast range. Like there is to use Winter's Curse on the Troll during that BKB, or Cold Embrace the Bristle, and we didn't really see either. It felt like.
I'm trying to think. Okay, Basher next. What will it take? Yapaj is going to have BKB soon.
Your admiral is on board.
Are scanning.
Now you've got an Aeon, or they had Aether Lens rather, on Boomy in that fight. It's just tough to find good positioning. You know, Armel and this Earth Spear just keep going so deep into the fight. Staying near enough to them to cast spells is tough. Here comes the smoke. They got all spells up.
Yep.
Is there AC on Armel yet? Very close. It's on the way.
It's coming on Curry, yep. So TNC
It's right timing.
get down the high ground ward. Gabby blinking in, finds Yanuel. This should be a solo kill. Not sure he's going to need his teammates. Team's just going to roll in to secure it, but... Oh, pause. Bit of a lag spike coming in the game there, unfortunately, but don't think that would have mattered too much. Yeah, it does feel like, you know, TNC are going to have, like you say, this problem maybe closing out the game. They have this map control. They can always, you know, take over the enemy side of the map, farm their jungle, take Roshan, but going high ground and, you know, stopping OB Neon from pushing out these side lanes seems a bit tricky.
And that's the benefit. Well, I guess I'll say the weakness of the Bristle and Bloodseer cores. You know, you want to fight. You don't really want to chase people all around the map, but that's where the Earth Spirit comes in. Still one of the best supports in Dota 2, even after the nerfs to effectively all of the abilities. Doesn't matter. You have way more catch than pretty much any hero at your role in comparison.
Yeah, appreciating the Queen of Pain Arcana there on the camera. Always a fan. Some good cosmetic. As TNC look to press forward, ignoring the... I mean, I guess I don't see Marju's yet. I'll see him in a second. Ignoring him for now, just looking to take these objectives. Take over these tier 3 towers. I mean,
bottom tower is
I guess we'll have to see. Yeah, they do have control of these outposts. Another thing, the XP you get, some of the changes there are going to give TNC a nice little boost.
Yeah, the AC is just such a big equalizer.
Dire's middle tower
I think,
has
is
fallen.
the armor... Is that bugged? Because some reason it shows Bristle only having 12 armor.
Yeah, I think it's a visual bug. I think I've seen that before, and it's just a visual bug.
Okay, because the AC aura also shows to not affect him at
is
the
under
moment.
attack.
It's
Armor enhanced by zero, attack speed. He's hidden like he has an AC, I feel like.
Yeah.
AC, well, I guess he gets 30 attack speed, but yeah.
Okay.
It feels like he's gone.
Well, what's interesting though, like considering that fight that he did die, he didn't have the plate mail. He went for the greedy progression with the hyperstone first. So
I thought here they come, they get the radiant scan, they see everyone with this one, but the
nice ult.
gets caught. Gets caught in the speed, but the cold break is there. The Winter's, you're actually saying the Winter's curse saving everyone else.
Oh my
He's got
God.
with the Sonic Mage set up a huge desecration as Gabby gets himself a double kill, and he's looking for more. The Rubik in the trees is being hunted down as well, and with the Bristleback in the middle of this, doesn't seem to care. He's just taking up control. Great cold embrace again. Boomy playing his fight perfectly. Has got Gabby an ultra kill. He's looking for the rampage. Give him the rampage. He gets stolen the first, but can he get it the second time? You betcha. It's a rampage. Gabby. Easy pickings for him.
That was absolutely tough. Shout out to Boomy. I know we saw a rampage from Gabby. Not that he did anything. That was Boomy. That's Boomy's rampage. That is the definition of what we like to call an alley-oop. Perfect ult, perfect cold embrace. And Gabby's just like, oh, hey, I'm alive. Oh, look, 4 heroes. I'll ult this. That's fine. Has the achievements of the bonus damage. Just death. 2 racks. Team wipe. Let's go, TNC.
TNC were so they scanned out, they baited the Quap, they scanned out the entire Neon team coming that way. Wyvern was in perfect position to save the Quap, and Quap had a double damage rune bottled up, ready to fight. It was just perfect execution. They get 6 kills out of it. They get top racks. They're going to get mid racks. Can't get bottom without the tier 2 tower, and we will see Skem, Spear back in the Bristleback. This Bristleback has looked a little more vulnerable, but ultimately when they focus Bristle, it's just meant Quap has been able to clean up.
Yep. Thinking about Boomy.
Next back, they recognize this Wyvern for the problem he is in these fights. Still gets the Winter's Curse off. Not going to lead to any kills here, and the Bloodseeker actually gets speared into the arena, so Bok in some trouble as well. Has a 4-staff, but can't get out of the arena, so a couple of kills going Obi Neon's way.
Step lively now. Your
2
admiral
racks
is on
is the
board.
trade. You'll take that any day of the week. And now a Bloodthorn on Gabby. That'll remove the troll evasion or mischance benefit from the Whirling Axes.
The one perhaps thing Neon could do that may give them a sliver of hope is snipe this Roshan, I feel. It's just respawned, and with Wyvern dead, I mean, Wyvern's back in 20 seconds. I don't think they're going to get out the Roshan time. They're also getting picked off here. But Gabby finds 1 kill, looking for a second potentially. As Tim's goes charging forward, he's going to BKB, and Gabby just jumps on top of this Rubik. This Rubik just going to get deleted by a BKB Quap, and yep, he's just unstoppable now. Well, I talked about them taking Roche because it's 5v3. Well, it looks like, you know, all TNC need is Tims and Gabby to take a 2 versus 5 fight here. Yopaj can't do anything except BKB TP, and he almost dies there. Ooh,
Your admiral
that
is
was
on
close.
board.
I don't even need Bach. They're just like, yeah, we'll fight. Quap Earth Spirit, such a deadly combination. So much kill threat, so much reach. Boomy's going to scout out the Roche. She sees this is available now, so I imagine, yep, just right back over to it.
And that's where I think that TNC aggression was really nice, because they kept Obi Neon away from this Roche.
Yep. They just played really well. This is the awakened TNC. You know, they've ever since they won, what was it? I think ESL where was that? ESL Mumbai. That was their peak, right? Like they won a huge major tournament, and since then they've looked like
they won the major. They won an actual Valve major. Yeah, I was about to say, you're talking about ESL Mumbai? Come on, Kyle.
Okay, they won
for some reason. Well, there was the China, not the China, the Chengdu major, I want to say. One of them, majors in China. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. It's so long ago, you don't remember it too well. But this is TNC. They look like they might be.
Brutal start to the fight. Doesn't mean Troll doesn't have to worry about that Winter's Curse, but the problem is there's no Rubik. Will instantly buy back. They go in on Booby, force him to defensively cold embrace himself. Doesn't mean he doesn't have that save, and he's going to get brought down to start the fight without a buyback here. So we'll see what the rest of TNC can do without the Wyvern this time. It looks like it's just fine. Gabby and Armel are just too damn farmed and tanky. Natsumi trying to lifesteal his way through this one, but he's hitting the back of the Bristleback. This is not what you want to do. And unfortunately, the Bristleback just a little bit too tanky. It's GG. TNC take the grand finals 2-0. That was convincing, Kyle.
That was a straight up domination. They look like the best team in this tournament by a margin. And you know, just saying, like, look at their smiles, like they're boot camping, they're getting their dances on, like definitely some confidence. And if I learned anything from the last major, confidence is everything. Drop those question marks early, and in this case, I think undefeated, right? Well, no, not undefeated. They dropped 1 game.
No,
but...
they came from the lower bracket, but one of those losses where it felt more of a draft problem than a play problem.
Yeah. They clicked here. I think their last picks in both games were excellent. The way they played, they certainly understand, I think, a little bit of how this new patch affects Dota. It's like you said, Parker, just early kills, early aggression. We saw Armel do a great job controlling runes. And I think the Wyvern pick, to me, again, Boomy, just straight up MVP.
Well, TNC, your Dota 2 Asia Pacific champions here in the Predator League. I mean, like, it's dominant stuff, and that is a really good sign for them moving forward. You know, DPC League's just around the corner. They're starting next week. TNC didn't make it to the first major out of a tough SEA region, and I feel like they're a team that, if they're at the major, they can very easily get top 6 and qualify for TI. So they may not have made it to the first major, but they're a team you can never count out of qualifying to TI by doing well at the next major.
After casting throughout this tournament, I just I definitely have newfound respect. I don't see SEA too much. I'm mostly focused on EUCIS because that's the region that I'm working with. But China looked dominant at the major. But I think right there in that discussion, SEA, you know, if Neon's a top 6 team, this TNC, as you said, certainly looks like they might be damn top 6 as well. And they didn't make it to the major this last round. So there's at least 4 teams you got to figure that all have a pretty solid shot to have a strong performance on the international stage. Really well done by TNC. As I said, great play, great drafting, and this does look like a renewed roster that we can hopefully start to see soon competing for real titles, much like they did a couple of years ago.
Well, SEA Dota, you know, it's got a bright future ahead of it. DPC League's around the corner, but for now, TNC have clinched themselves another title. They right now, at least today, are the kings of SEA Dota. Congratulations to them. Thank you, Kyle, for joining me, and we're going to head back to the panel as we celebrate TNC's big victory.
A big victory indeed. My goodness. That's how you win a grand final. I mean, it wasn't as close as we wanted it to be, but when it comes to just celebrating the winners, right? It's just so good. That good Dota came out from a TNC, and that's what we like. My name is Wolf, your panel host. Thank you so much, Kyle and Gods. And now the Wolfpack, Pao and Nathan. Were you impressed? Are you entertained? Let's say.
Good Dota is its own reward, and I will say that for both of the games, and I'm just talking about both of the games, my MVP is Boomy. His drafting in this final, or in this final day, was impeccable. The last pick, Life Stealer, I really loved it to punish the Life Stealer. I really enjoyed seeing the last pick, Bristleback, and like I said, they had all the tools in the world. And that's why I sided with him in that game. The Winter Wyvern, just as a pick, already gonna give you a headache when all you're relying on is a Troll Warlord. But over and above that, he just played amazing in the series. All of those clutch saves, the rampage that he was able to give to Gabby, like Kyle said, that's not Gabby's rampage. In a lot of ways, right? In a lot of ways, that was all set up by TNC's new captain, Boomy. I think this TNC roster, we can call it a success, and they should have this confidence going into the DPC Season 2.
Yeah, I think huge patch drops. Which teams are going to be able to adjust? Obviously, in this case, TNC. You know, they definitely just changed all of a sudden. They're a different beast all of a sudden, you know? Just playing from the lower bracket today versus Boom. And again, huge respect to Boom and Neon. These are huge teams that you're playing against, especially Neon off of the back of a huge achievement at the major. So I feel like maybe Neon didn't, I don't know if they didn't do their homework enough, but definitely TNC understands the patch much more. You know, the way that they drafted, the way that they moved in the early laning stages, you know, the rune timings, the way that they played as well. I think they tailored the way that they played today to really shut down Yopatch. Definitely it was one of the ideas that coming into the series for TNC, so just huge props to them. They did their homework, they got rewarded for it, they get a star.
Not only a star, championship with it, a lot of cash as well. And
they're also the defending champions, right?
Yeah, they are.
They are. So they retain the shield. The TNC Predator have been crowned 2-time Ace of Predator League champion.
2 shields in the boot camp that we saw in there. My goodness, that Nathan kind of talked about how they were prepared. I think that is definitely it when it comes to this particular grand final. Even in the lower bracket finals, right? They look like a team that really did their homework and they are prepared against a team like OB Neon. But, you know, another gift that will be given to us is an interview with the champions. And maybe we get to understand that better. And what better way to really hear from a TNC, but to hear from their now captain, it's Boomy that we'll get to talk about. And Pao, I can see the enthusiasm in your eyes, Pao, already. But yeah, Boomy, congratulations. It must be feeling good for sure. How important
Yeah,
is
it feels
this championship for you guys?
It's very important because we are a new team and we need to kind of prove it to everyone that because of the